And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the WardiTV Monday, number 35, your weekly dose of WardiTV action. Of course, as VIP with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to something a little bit different, something special. Welcome to not just our weekly tournament, but with a returning player for the first time in a very long time. It has been far too long. It's been almost a year since she has been regularly competing, regularly partaking in these tournaments. Let's get into it. As spawning in the top left hand corner of ByuN, we have the Polish Protoss player, the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Geralt. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you can get your Gamba going. Again, it's been far too long. Scarlett is back. Let's go. If you remember, we casted Scarlett last week. Scarlett, she did play and partake in the Lily Cup 38, where Scarlett took down Jeshi. It went up against Gumiho in the finals of Lily Cup as well. And if you recall, I was commenting on the fact that on whether or not this is a return to form, whether Scarlett is actually back. Scarlett has been on a very long hiatus. Scarlett has not competed in StarCraft. Oh, I have to get rid of the tuna. But Scarlett hasn't competed in StarCraft on a regular basis since EWC, since halfway through last year. It's been 9 months, 10 months. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time since Scarlett has been regularly competing. But of course, did recently return for the Lily Cup. Also returned for a show match against herO, an off-race show match, also in the Lily Cup. And I know that Scarlett played, I think, in Kung Fu Cup last week, like in StarCraft Evolution. I believe she also played in either StarCraft, yeah, it was StarCraft Evolution, not StarCraft Evolution League, but did compete in Kung Fu Cup. So Scarlett, she's been popping up every now and then, has been playing and competing and partaking every now and then here in like a tournament here and there over the past month of play. And now, for the first time in a long time, in an open cup. Let's go. Now the question becomes, what form is she in? Now, when it comes to a match and when it comes to a series against Jeshi, she was obviously looking pretty solid. She was looking pretty informed, pretty solid. Based on her performance against Jeshi, I would say that her current skill, I would say, is comparable to that of Geralt, if not maybe even slightly favored. I will say that. And what I will also say is that that series against Jeshi was, what, 3 weeks ago at this point? Like, it's been a couple of weeks. So if Scarlett has been practicing, has been looking to level up in skill, then she could be looking even stronger here and now. So I'm ready, I'm excited. We'll see how Scarlett compares to Geralt. Let's go. As Geralt, of course, has risen through the ranks amongst the European Protoss players to the point where I would say Geralt is probably top 5, like top 5 European Protoss. It's hard to say. There's a lot of Polish Protoss players that are quite close in ranking, like regards to Geralt, regards to Christiana, regards to MaNa as well. Like, they're all very strong and very powerful at the moment. So it's kind of hard to kind of place them amongst each other. So we'll see. We shall see. For now, Geralt, he's very much so a standard player. He doesn't really shake things up too much. So Oracle Opener into a third base. And Geralt, he's not one to go into like leveled up builds too often. And Geralt is one to mix in Robo follow-ups and I should say Archon drop follow-ups. That Geralt will do. So we'll keep an eye on him, see how he does mix things up in the mid game. Behind the Scarlett hatch gas pool, third base, droning, saturating, nothing crazy here from Scarlett. Everything so far looking normal, looking standard. Welcome one and all to ByuN. ByuN is a large map, that is true, but the rush distance by ground is relatively short, and we have seen a lot of aggression favored on ByuN as well. The attack path, path is very direct here on ByuN. As Scarlett does make a wave of Lings and is going to be threatening the third base. Now the Oracle pokes in and gets a revelation, nothing major. The Oracle should be active here, and at any moment we do have the second Oracle yet to defend the third base. So these things, they shouldn't really get much done. Oracle pokes in, runs into the Queens, pulls away, back at home. Twilight Council forward, standard follow +1 and blink on the horizon here for Geralt. Lings, they hit the third, but again the Oracle is within the vicinity and the Oracle will defend. The Lings should be dealt with. Oh, can they get the pylon though? Not bad. Yeah, Levi actually, the Oracle slightly out of position here, and the pylon does go down. One adept as well. Nice pick-offs here from Scarlett. Nothing major, but good trades nonetheless. And we do see Geralt opening up double Oracle into a Phoenix. Interesting. Now this Phoenix is designed to hunt down Overlords to deny vision, deny scouting. What exactly are we hiding here? So far everything's looking as it should be. We'll see if he does kind of, again, go down a different route. As Phoenix will shut down the initial Overlord. The other thing that a Phoenix follow-up does is that it does deter Spire play. It does deter mutas, just because there's already a Phoenix, so now there's less of a chance, or now you're de-incentivized from going into muta play. Oh my god, as the Phoenix overextends, that is not worth it here. Gets an Overlord kill, but to lose a Phoenix, a much better trade for Scarlett. Yeah, much better trade. Behind this, we have +1 and Blink, as to be expected, but already an earlier Templar archive. So much earlier follow-up tech. Gases are being taken, going into not Colossus, but into Storm. Let's go. It's been years. It has been. It's been years. But from here, Scarlett is going to be saturating, getting her third base up and running. Fourth base is going to be on the way. Gas is being taken as well. +1 range tells us that this is going to be a very heavy commitment into Ling Hydra. Emphasis on the Hydras, less so the Lings. Otherwise, we would have seen +1 melee instead. Adepts, they do threaten to shade towards the bases, and so far Scarlett is in position. So far Scarlett does keep up, does deny. Does deny those Adepts. Geralt just poking in, clearing up some creep. Not committing. There's that. I should emphasize this once again. This storm is very early. This is really early storm here. Usually we would be seeing a gateway explosion into extra stalkers into later storm and later splash damage. But this storm is going to hit a lot earlier than normal. And we'll see if Geralt's able to make use of that in some way. Meanwhile, Lings, they just ignore the Adepts. They go for a massive counterattack. The fourth base is exposed. The Oracles are out of position. Remember, only 2 Oracles because he did make a Phoenix, not a third Oracle. Yeah, with that, the base is denied. Very nice pick off here from Scarlett. Catching Geralt out of position. That's a kill, not a cancel on the pylon. So it kills another pylon. Links from here, they have to back up. Adepts, they are dealt with back at home. And Scarlett is taking up. Here we go. As we mentioned before, with +1 range being researched, you can see here Hydrogen, bam, into Infestation Pit and Lurker Den. So we're taking up into Hive, taking up into Lurkers as well. Again, we're using Links to harass, that is true, but the main emphasis, the main goal here, the main win condition is to get into Lurkers. Scarlett is working in that direction. So far, doing a great job here at harassing, at keeping Geralt busy. Geralt struggling to get a fourth. Storm is now done. But again, because of the rush into Storm, that means less gateways, and that means that Geralt has been very passive here. Typically, in a standard PvZ, we'd be seeing a lot of pressure with the Stalkers, right? Like the Stalkers would be pressuring, they'd be poking, denying creep, pressuring the fourth base, denying the fourth base as well. But because of the early Storm, Geralt has been more defensive. He's had less Stalkers, less Warpins, and has been stuck at home. Did harass with some Adepts earlier, but that's all the harassment that Geralt has done. And because of this, Scarlett has had free reign, and look at the drone count. 87, already almost 90 drones at this point. Scarlett has been left to her own devices, has drawn up very heavily, has been left alone, and Geralt's going to be punished for it. And now Geralt's hurtling up into Skytoss. Fleet Beacon is done, second Stargate on the way, going into Tempest production. And that's all well and good, but the problem here is that 1, the fourth base is very late. 2, I mean, this map is very accessible in between the bases, at the third, at the fourth base as well. I would say this is one of the more difficult maps to defend on. So we'll see if Geralt can turtle up. That's basically what's happening here. Geralt, he's just hyper defensive. He's turtling up, he's walling up cannons, shield batteries, wall-offs as well, Storm, and trying to get into Skytoss. But the problem here is that, again, the fourth base was late. Scarlett was very greedy and got away with all that greed, even has the high yield gas geyser. Scarlett is going to be the first to max out, and before we get into any really big semblance of Skytoss, Scarlett can just barrel down that fourth base with Lurker. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Lurkers are building up. This is going to hit with +2, as +2 is on the horizon. And this is going to be a tough hold. Right now, Geralt is vulnerable. Now, if Geralt can somehow survive this, there's a world where maybe the stasis trap goes off and catches most of the Lurkers. Maybe the Storms, they have like insane connections here on the Hydras. Like, there are worlds where Geralt can take a fight, but oh, just like that, stasis trap is denied. Lurkers are moving in, and Geralt is not ready for this. Geralt just doesn't really have much of an army. Lurkers, they push forward, they zone away the High Templar. Lurker range is still not done. Nice Storm here on the Hydras. Storm does pop up, but there we go. Lurker range now kicking in. And Scarlett just bullying back the ground army. The Lunkers, they zone away. And as the army zoned away, the fourth base is exposed, and the fourth base is going to go down. That's what matters here. With the fourth base being broken, Geralt can't really afford much else. As the Nexus should fall. Tempest, I mean, they will kill all the Hydras and they will kill everything eventually, but not before the base goes down. At the same time, bottom left is denied. And Geralt is going to be stuck on 3 bases. Geralt doesn't really have the economy to sustain this. And now from here, Spire. Now we're going for the Spire. Now we're switching into Corruptors, into Vipers, into that more late game composition. And yes, Geralt, he's alive, he survives, but he cannot maintain this economy. He cannot maintain this kind of army without a fourth. And the wing condition for Scarlett is deny the base. Deny the base owner again. Here we go. Nidus into the main. Lings towards the fourth base. Hydras towards the third. Going for a tri-pronged attack. That's a kill, not a cancel. Base goes down. And Geralt, he responds to the Nidus at least. But the Lurkers, they move in. Oh, a bit of an overextension. Lurkers, they still trade fairly well. Yeah, they take down most of the ground army. More Lurkers, they do burrow. Ooh, taking down the Archons. Geralt, he will clean this up, but no fourth. Still no fourth expansion. And Scarlett still just amassing more Hydras, getting to +3 range, +1. That flyer attack is now on the way. The creep here is getting out of control. We have creep encroaching on the bases here of Geralt, making it even more difficult to expand. Geralt is forced back. Scarlett pulling away. We're just waiting for another wave of Lurkers. The Lurker count was reset, but every time we attack with Lurkers, I mean, bases are falling, stack defense is falling. We can see Geralt still trying to turtle, still trying to build up. And this time Scarlett not even making any Lurkers. True, I mean, there's not that many storms. Could just commit. Okay, there's 2 White Templar. 2 White Templar, there's the lunge. 1, 2 White Templar go down, 1 storm goes up, and that's not going to be enough. Geralt has to respond with his main army. Hydra's pushing further in. Push further in at the same time. Scarlett pushing towards left hand side as well. And again, this time not even any Lurkers. This time not even necessary. Just having a more mobile army denies the fourth base for a 3rd time, or even a 4th time. Geralt cannot expand. Geralt's Tempest army has been slowly getting bigger, that is true, but I mean at the same time we're also building up and getting ready for those Corruptors. Scarlett building up her bank, taking more bases, taking more expansions, spreading more creep, but catching a mineral line. And just moving with pure Ling Hydra at this point. Again, there's no need for the Lurkers, not anymore. Lings, they bust into the bases. Hydras pull away. We get the recall into the main. And it's just a numbers game at this point. There's just far too much here. The Hydras, the Lings, they get out of hand. Collapsing on top of the High Templar, forcing out their storms. Storms are pretty decent here on the Hydras, but there are just so many. There are just so many Hydras here. Bases are falling left and right. Another expansion goes down. GG gets called, and Scarlett will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Scarlett does take a lead in the series here, does pop off here in the first game, looking very strong, very powerful. What I will say, Geralt was so passive. Geralt, he was so passive, so defensive. We spoke about this. Geralt, instead of going for Stalker aggression in the mid game, he went for Fast Storm. He went for Faster Storm, and he was turtling instead. He was very passive, very defensive, and this allowed Scarlett to get away with a lot of greed. A lot of greed there. For Scarlett. As Scarlett, she was able to, remember, drone up to 87 so fast and so quick. There was some adept harass, that is true. There was a little bit of adept harass early on, but Scarlett was able to deal with that. Scarlett able to counterattack as well, deny the 3rd base, deny the 4th base, or I should say kill pylons at the 3rd and deny the 4th base. And yeah, it was really quite successful. Really quite successful with that aggression, and again got away with a lot of droning, a lot of greed, and always had her eye on the ball. Remember, from the beginning, +1 range, not +1 melee. From the beginning, Scarlett was already getting ready to embrace Hydras and Lurkers. She was already building up and working in that direction, and she got there. She got there in a very nice position. And with that, Geralt was kind of bullied out. And now we're getting into our next game. Oh, I should get rid of the tutor. There we go. Well, now we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see if Geralt is going to be more active here. Again, personally, I'm a little bit surprised by how defensive Geralt was. I've seen Geralt be more active, be more aggressive, be in the face of Zerg players. That's not what we saw in game number 1. Not at all, really. So we'll see if Geralt does switch gears, clearly showing that if Scarlett is allowed to, Scarlett sees an opportunity, she will just drone the hell up. She'll drone up, get up to 87, max out on Hydras, max out on Lunkers. If you're gonna let her, she will. And here we go, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Streamer Zone down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back, we'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is Geralt. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. Here we go. Oh, share my papi, share my in the chat. Good to see you all. I see Baby Links as well, Baby Links. I see Soundo. I see Randy. Hope you're all doing well. You're doing well. And again, it was a pleasant surprise to see Scarlett in the bracket. I was like, oh my god, let's go. We have a Zerg. that's the biggest surprise, really. Oh no, that's crazy. It's crazy. Meanwhile, Hatch Gas full standard opener out of Scarlett, and again, my eyes are going to be on Geralt. Now, a couple of different things here. First things first, welcome to Ultra Love. Ultra Love, I would say, is a smaller map. True, is a smaller map compared to Pylon, shorter rush distance by ground. These are true things. At the same time, a lot more choke points. Ultra Love is a more defensive map than Pylon. If a player were to be more defensive, were to turtle up and camp, this is a better map for it. We have choke points coming into the 3rd base, coming into the 4th base, so there's a lot of choke points, a lot of ramps, a lot of points of elevation. The bridges are very narrow as well. It is easier here to cut the map in half. You can also knock down these towers and fully wall off this area. So if Geralt did want to play that style, this I think would be a little bit better. I say a little bit, there's a give and take. On the one hand, these bases are more defendable, that is true, they're easier to fortify. At the same time though, because the rush distance by ground is so short, we have seen a lot of German taxis, right? We've seen a lot of like Queen drop based all-ins, or just Queen walks across the map with Roach Ravager, some Nidus based all-ins. All-ins from the side of Zerg have been relatively popular on this map, with a lot of success as well. So that's also something to bear in mind, is that I would say that there's like a period of vulnerability early on when you're on 3 bases, but when a Protoss player works towards a 4th base, then it becomes easier to defend. So that's when kind of like the window closes and you expect to see longer games. If they can get up to a 4-base economy, then we're going to late game. Is often the case. Not always, but often. So we'll see which direction this goes in, as for now, Geralt does poke in. Once again, Stargate opener, going for the Oracle. Again, the opener was also a little bit lackluster for Geralt. If you remember, he went double Oracle Phoenix, and he lost the first Phoenix to 1 Overlord. Like, it was a really rough start for Geralt, losing that first Phoenix. It did mean that he had less Oracles, he had less to defend, and I'll be honest, without having that 3rd Oracle, that meant that his 4th base was vulnerable, and he had to cancel, right? He lost the 4th base early on as well. Everything just kind of snowballed out of control. So we'll see how Geralt does adapt. Meanwhile, from the side of Scarlett, so far droning, and we'll see if Scarlett finds another opportunity to be hyper greedy, as that is going to be a Twilight Council just as the 3rd base gets thrown down. So more aggression. Earlier Twilight Council this time. This is a very early Twilight Council, so this could be a couple different things. This could be Glaives. This could be Stargate opener into a 3rd into Glaive Adepts. This otherwise, if we see a faster Robo, this could be instead an Archon drop follow-up. So we'll see if we throw down a Robo or extra gateways. For now, I didn't see a Robo. This does feel like Glaives. Technically, this could be early Blink. We spoke about how small this map is, and if we were casting herO, Blink, this can turn into a 3-base Blink all-in with 8 gateways. Here comes the Gateway Explosion. Glaive Adepts. Okay. So more of the standard response. Meanwhile, at the same time, Lings, they do hit the 3rd. They take down an Adept, but they have to back up. The Oracle does defend. And again, Glaive Adepts are amassing. Now, as a reminder, this is not an all-in. This is not all-in, but this is designed to get damage done. And once again, Geralt's going double Oracle into a Phoenix. Interesting. Just like the last game, we have the same opener in regards to the Stargates. Designed to hunt down these Overlords. And make it more difficult for Scarlett to scout. Now, I do like this response here by Geralt because if you remember, something important happened last game. There was no Roach Warren. There was no Roach Warren from Scarlett. There was no Baneling Nest either. Without Roaches, without Banelings, Glaive Adepts this early on can do a lot. Now, thankfully, +1 melee. This time it's +1 melee. This time there's going to be more of a commitment and investment into Lings, and I'm hoping even Banelings as well. This does mean that Scarlett may be able to survive this and defend with purely Lings, and there we go. Safety Roach Warren. So Scarlett is this time being safer. Much safer play here. Checking the vision, Scarlett did not see the timing of the Twilight Council. Scarlett is playing blind, but does spot all these Adepts. And the Roach Warren is not going to be done for it. Remember, this is a later Roach Warren, but Scarlett is ready to wall off. Lings are amassing. Here comes the wall. Queens trying to hold their own. Oracles, they're going for the dive. And they take down 2 queens. They're 2, 3, 4 queens going to be going down. The Lings, they collapse on top of the Adepts, and the Lings, they will shut this down. At least they should. They should be able to shut this down. There we go. Adepts are falling one after the other, down to 2 Adepts. And Adepts, they do not get into the mineral line. 0 economic damage, but the queen count. Checking the losses here. 5 queens. 5 queens did go down, so that is still damage. Checking the units tab. 0 queens. Every queen just went down. So the queens, they have to be rebuilt. They have to be replaced. But at least Scarlett doesn't lose anything to the Adepts. Here we go. Scarlett threatens a counterattack, but alas, there are plenty of Glaive Adepts here in position. And Geralt defends the third. Scarlett from here. Do you see what I see? All in. Overload speed. Overload speed is on the way. If you remember, we did mention something at the start of the game, how often we see German taxis and queen drops across the map on Ultra Love. That's what we're seeing here. We have Lings, we have Queens, we have Roaches, we have Overlord Speed, and we have Drop Lords coming. Scarlett is going for the all-in. As we mentioned, this is more common on Ultra Love because this is a smaller map. This does hit very hard, and Geralt, we spoke about it. If Geralt is able to establish himself on 4 bases, he can turtle up. No 4th base yet. He's not gotten to that point. Scarlett still has an opening, an opportunity to all-in. And there we go. Lings are coming in for a full surround. Blink is not done. Geralt, he's too premature. The Stalkers, they get caught out. Blink is still not yet complete. Lings are flooding across map. +1 melee is now done. And the all-in should be coming. Now, on the one hand, this 3rd base is looking very secure. We have cannons. We have shield batteries. The natural is open. The natural is a lot more open. And speaking of, Scarlett does hit the natural base. Army's moving in. And the natural is exposed. No shield batteries, no cannons. There is a massive opening here. This is a weak point into Geralt's defense. Vials, they connect, they take down, he floods in. Scarlett does flood in, she does break through, takes down the Cybercore, takes down the Twilight Council. We have some slow lots to defend. Yeah, there is no charge. And from here, Scarlett does break into the main. Lings are in the main base. We do have the Ravagers and Queens busy here at the 3rd. They have to work through all these cannons. So it does take a little bit more here to break through this line of defense. Uh-oh. And by the time she does, the Stalkers, they're holding their own. Oracles, they do turn back around. Lings, they get cleaned up in the bases. And Scarlett, she's running out of steam. She's running out of steam here. Again, Geralt did want a defense here at the 3rd. This was ideal. And Geralt holds. Geralt is holding. Again, a lot of damage was being dealt here at the natural, but not good enough. And Geralt holds, and now Scarlett is in a rough position. She's in a rough position here. Scarlett down to 60 workers. She was completely all in. She had to end the game then and there. We saw that Scarlett's attention was split. It was split between attacking the 3rd base and attacking the natural. There was so much opportunity here at the natural base, but didn't quite commit all the way. And now Scarlett has to drone. Now Scarlett has to drone up, has to saturate, is working towards Hydras, working towards a later form of tech. And what's scary here, Geralt on 76 probes. That's a lot of probes. Now, what's important here is that Geralt is oversaturated. You can see here 28 out of 16. Geralt is not mining efficiently, not yet. Geralt needs a 4th. He needs that 4th base. So Geralt is still working in that direction, still trying to get that up and running. Scarlett joining up to 75. And Scarlett is cutting workers. Does get eyes on the 4th. Okay, not cutting works anymore, taking gases, joining up. Scarlett looks like she's getting ready for lurker tech. The creep is okay, it's connecting the bases, but basically Scarlett just has to shift gears. Has to shift gears, have to try to adjust here, and try to reacclimate, try to stabilize. +1 range on the way, we have +2 here on the way for Geralt. Collapsing on the Zealots. High Templar will zone away. Scarlett is maxed, true. So Scarlett can still try to break Geralt here and now. Now, Scarlett doesn't have to kill Geralt, but if she can break the fourth base, deny the expansion, then she can buy more time to tech up and embrace all these upgrades and get into a longer game in a better position. Here we go. Hydras have arrived. They're going for the cannon. Cannon goes down and breaks down the wall. At the same time, Scarlett distracting on the left-hand side. Storm is done. Scarlett does distract. Another storm is going to be coming in. Stasis does pop up. And there's the storm. Yeah, juicy storm here on the Hydras. That is true. Better split towards the end. Another storm connects, but Scarlett does get into the mineral line. And 25 probes go down. That's what's important here. 25 worker kills. Scarlett cripples the economy. And Scarlett may lose this army, but it was worth it. This was worth it for Scarlett. Behind this, Infestation Pit. Infestation Pit's on the way. Hive is on the way. Scarlett is on 77 workers. Scarlett's still building up, catching out more Stalkers. Rotating over towards the third. And Scarlett did get enough damage. From here, catching more Stalkers. Once again, gets into the mineral line. Another 7 probes going down. Ay, ay, ay. Geralt's getting torn apart here. Lings are coming from behind. The Gateway army here is crumbling. Where are the High Templar? There's only one High Templar, 0 storms. And Geralt will hold, but at a cost. At a cost, as Geralt is now down to 51 workers. Had 76 at one point. Down to 51. And Geralt was working towards Skytoss. Like the Stargate, the Fleet Beacon is done. The Fleet Beacon is done, was working towards Skytoss. Geralt was almost there, but did not get into his own 4-base economy. And now Scarlett looking solid. Scarlett has recovered. Hive is on the way. I believe no Lurker Den yet, but I don't think a Lurker Den is necessary, just because the army is so low. If there were more Immortals, if there were Colossus, if there was a little bit more to this army, then sure, Lurkers would be necessary. But this army here for Geralt is very flimsy. There's a couple of High Templar, a couple of Archons, a couple of Stalkers. Right now, Scarlett can get away with purely Ling Hydra. Ooh, being a little bit fancy here, dropping into the main. Yeah, double drop alerts towards the main base. More Ling Hydra massing up here for Scarlett. Pushing on the right-hand side. Scarlett is being active. Moving in on the right with Mass Hydra. Storms will delay. Drop coming into the main. A Scarlet not going to Lurkers, going into Ultras. Okay, let's go. Ultras on the horizon. So drop is unloading. That's a lot of storms. Jeez, that's a lot of High Templar. Ay, that's 7 High Templar. Lings, they do take down the Templar Archives at least. But Geralt is holding well. I mean, we spoke about this at the start of the game, if you recall. We spoke and we compared Pylon and Ultra Love, how Ultra Love is more defendable, right? Ultra Love is easier to defend on 4 bases, and you can see why here. I mean, we have a full wall at the 3rd. You can see the choke point here, the ramp, the high ground that you have available as well. Like, it is much more difficult to break the 4th on Ultra Love than it was on Pylon. And Scarlett, she's, again, countering that the hard way here. Trying to break Geralt, but not being able to. Now, thankfully, Scarlett is taking up. We have +3 on the way. We have Ultra upgrades as well. And there is a world where Geralt can turtle and defend up until a maxed out Skytoss army. That's Geralt's hope. Oh! I just a peg forward. Scarlett can afford these trades, so this is still okay. Trading against the Zealots. Picking up whatever she can. Oh, High Templar coming in for a flank. Oh my god. Another storm. Storms, they pop up, and the Hydras, they are shut down. Ay, ay, ay. Taking 3-4 storms to the face. Scarlett plummets in supply at the same time. Zealot run by here towards the top side. Ultras now on the way. 11 Ultras in production. This base is going to go down. But Scarlett is hoping that Geralt keeps pushing. If Geralt pushes onto creep, he's going to be completely swallowed up by those Ultras. As 11 Ultras are coming. And Geralt needs to get the hell out of here. He has to get the hell out. If there's a recall, Geralt cannot be active. Not like this. And Geralt will race back home, catching out a bunch of Overlords. Ultras are amassing. And now, once again, we're back to turtle mode. You know, we're back to defending strictly here on 4 bases. Ultras making their way in. They try to push through. And so far, I mean, the High Templar, they're out of energy. More Ultras pushing in. Mineral line is exposed. Geralt out of position. We need some of the... Oh, jeez, that's so many High Templar. Geralt not ready for the Ultras. High Templar, they're ideal against Hydras and Lings, but not so much against Ultras. As Scarlett, she can take the fight. Storms, they tickle the Ultras. Ultras, they rush on forward. They catch out the High Templar. Massive amount of High Templar go down. And Scarlett has done it. Scarlett breaks through the main army, cleans up, what was that, like 11 High Templar. The 4th base goes down. And again, the Ultras did catch Geralt off guard. Geralt was ready for more Lings and Hydras, not ready for Ultras. And again, specifically against High Templar, Ultras are ideal. Ultras, they do so well here. If there were more Immortals, different story, but as we mentioned, there was no Immortal production, there was no Rover production whatsoever. So Ultras, they played their parts. They take down the 3rd, and Geralt is down to this. Down to a couple of Tempest, down to the Mothership. Skytos is good, but not with a 2 base economy. I'm even being generous there. Half a base economy. there's nothing in the main, and there's half a mineral land here at the natural. There just is nothing to sustain Geralt. There's nothing here. And all that Scarlett needs, Scarlett, I mean, ideally against this kind of army, you have Corruptors, but because there's nothing supporting this army, because there's no Storm, or I spoke too soon, 11 High, Jesus, that's a lot of High Templar. Okay. I was gonna say, without any Storm, without any support, the Hydras are gonna be fine, but now we do more feed more Archons and High Templar and Storm, but that's what the Ultras are for, so Ling, Hydra, Ultra is still ideal against this. It's still fine. Scarlett doesn't need to take into Spire. There you go. Scarlett's diving in. Ultras, they just overwhelm the Archons. Archons go down, and now it's time for the Hydras. As now there is no Storm. GG, and Scarlett will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. Whew. Hi. GG, well played. Congratulations and congratulations to Scarlett as she will claim the series. Big win here for Scarlett, especially considering there was a rough moment in this game. Winding it back, if you remember, Scarlett, so initially it was Glaive Adepts. Remember, it was Stargate Opener into Glaive Adepts from Geralt, and Geralt, he didn't really trade too well with the Adepts. Scarlett had the advantage, and remember, Scarlett turned that advantage into an all-in, and the all-in looked promising, but the all-in failed. The all-in failed, and I would say that Geralt was ahead from there. Geralt defended against the all-in, got a 4th base up and running, turtled up on 4 bases as well, and Scarlett was in a rough position after the failed all-in. Thankfully, was able to recover, was able to build up into Hydras, and more importantly, was able to break the 4th base. Just barely, if you remember, was able to drop across into the main base. Lings, they slipped into the mineral line, and was able to kill 20, I think it was like 24? Like 24 probes went down, and the 4th base as well. Like Scarlett was able to barely break through, barely get the damage she was looking for, and then take a lead from there. But that was still very dicey, Shout out to Geralt for defending against the initial all-in, defending against the Queen drop and the initial Ling Roach Hydra as well. Geralt did survive that, but it was in the aftermath where Geralt did stumble a little bit in his defense. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Scarlett does claim it, and with that, we are now getting ready for our next series, exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves, let us switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket. Let's go. Whew, okay, there's a lot of, oh my god, there's a lot of updates here. From the very top though, we have the number 1 seed of the tournament. We have Classic. Classic is the number 1 seed here, so the opponents, they get more and more difficult. We go from Geralt to a Korean Protoss in Classic. So Scarlett versus Classic is going to be coming up next year on the channel. We'll see how she compares. We'll see how they compare to each other, I should say, as again the opponents get more and more difficult. Scrolling down, we have ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE takes down Rebellion. SHIN takes down Stek. We have ShoWTimE versus SHIN also in the second round. Scrolling down, we have MaNa up against Spirit. Ooh, some Polish on Polish action there with MaNa and Spirit. Best of luck in that PvT. Scrolling down, we have Clem. Clem takes down Rex. Percival takes down herO. We have Clem versus Percival in a Protoss versus Terran. Best of luck in that matchup. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have herO waiting for the winner of Lemon and Young Yakov. We have Solar versus Creator. We have ByuN versus Nice. Oh my god, Nice 2-0 over SKillous. That's an upset. That's a crazy upset. SKillous is in form. I was looking forward to a rematch. For those that were not here yesterday, SKillous, he just beat ByuN in a best of 5. SKillous, he had a really strong showing against ByuN, did beat him in a best of 5 series in the Sparkling Tuna Cup finals, but SKillous, he will not have a chance at the rematch. SKillous, he's knocked out early on. My condolences to SKillous, and Max is waiting for the winner of ByuN and Nice. Oh boy. So matches are progressing. And we are getting ready here for our next ZVP. Oh god, I keep forgetting. What is Classic's new team name? Oh god. I'll try to figure that out. As we message some of the players. It's like S8. Am I crazy? Classic. I'm sorry, for Virtus Pro. That's it. Virtus Pro. There are so many new roster changes. I have to keep up. Do you have to keep up? But yes. Up next is going to be Classic versus Scarlett. We're going to be focusing on the upper half of the bracket. So Classic versus Scarlett, ShoWTimE versus SHIN, that kind of area of the bracket is where we are going to be focusing on. As we may as well scroll up to that portion. So we're going to be focusing on the upper half, and we'll see what that leads us. For now, the players are conducting their vetoes. They do need a little bit of time to get things underway. What a time to be alive. True. Really good showing there by Scarlett. Especially considering, like, again, things were looking a little bit dire after the failed all-in, but Scarlett, she was able to recover, right? Able to double expand, able to drone back up, able to recover and stabilize on Ling Hydra. Ooh. Especially with the drop play as well. Was able to distract and able to keep Geralt busy. But now we are going to be going on a short break. And when we come back, we will have our next series. We'll have Scarlett versus Classic. Let's go. Whew, let us go. and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the WardiTV Monday number 35. Again, a very special edition here, the return of a Canadian legend. Let's jump in as we are following her story into the round of 16. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing his new team, Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Which way will this go? The way of Scarlett, the way of Classic? Best of luck in the chat. Predict while you can, as this could go either way. I say that Scarlett had a very strong showing against Geralt earlier, showing what would happen if you were maybe a little bit too passive against Scarlett. We'll take advantage of you, especially in game 1 on Pylon. In game 2, we saw a more aggressive side of Scarlett, going for the all-in instead as a response to Glaive Adepts. But what I will say is that Classic is a lot less passive than Geralt. Classic, I can definitely see going for more Stalker aggression in the mid game, being more intense, being more aggressive, and being more in your face. We'll see how Scarlett compares to Classic. This is going to be the biggest challenge yet. I'm here for it. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. As so far, Hatchcats will standard opener out of Scarlett, nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Likewise, Classic going for a gate expand into Cybercore as well. When it comes to the early game, nothing really to write home about, but really what I'm curious about is the follow-up here. Classic known for Stargate play into Blinkstalker aggression. Classic is also kind of like herO Light, where Classic is willing to mix things up as well. He can be a little bit unpredictable. We have seen Classic do builds like Embrace Skytoss really early on to go for like early Blink into cutting gateways, into an earlier Fleet Beacon, into Stargate, into Skytoss on 3 bases. Classic is willing to be more aggressive and throw down extra gateways and go for a 3-base all-in, go into Glaive Adepts, go into Archon follow-ups. Classic can be quite diverse in his play, so we'll see if Scarlett is able to keep up when it comes to the tech, respond, and shut Classic down. Let's go. So far, Classic being active. I think Scarlett bringing down Geralt earlier alongside Jessie shows that Scarlett has been practicing, has been keeping up, is getting back into shape. For how long, hard to say, but it does bode well when it comes to DreamHack Dallas, right? It's like, I would imagine a big reason for Scarlett's return is the return of EWC and the beginning of the new circuits. When it comes to DreamHack Dallas, when it comes to Home Story Cup as well, Scarlett is back in North America, by the way. She's back in North America. I know she spent a lot of time in China at the start of the year, but has returned just in time for DreamHack Dallas. Remember, DreamHack Dallas is at the end of the month, so I wouldn't be surprised if Scarlett is going to be at that event. So now is the time to be peaking in skill. As so far, Stargate opener into the Oracle. Classic does move out. Behind the second Oracle's on the way. So far, Scarlett holding her own. Looking good. Spores are on the way. Classic catching us some lava, nothing major. 16 more lings in production. Scarlett's goal should be to shut down these Zeps and also counterattack. Back at home, second Oracle has arrived. That's going to be a faster Twilight Council from Classic. Similar to the last game with Geralt's, Classic maybe looking to go into early Glaive Adepts. Does feel like early Glaives. Yeah, and Scarlett does sneak by. Cheeky moves here from Scarlett. Does avoid the Adepts, does avoid the Oracles, but making her way across the map, heading towards the third. And we'll see if Scarlett can get a cancel. It's going to be close. Adepts are in position. They do get away in time. Scarlett heading towards the natural, but alas, Classic will defend. Oracles are racing back home. Scarlett takes down 2 Adepts. Not bad. 2 Adepts go down. They get the Lings, they get on top of the Pylon. Pylon goes down as well, denies the warp in. Not bad. Another Adept falls. There is a secondary wall behind this. Classic does hold on to the natural. This is some nice damage here with these Lings. catching out 3 Adepts, a Pylon as well. Behind this, a Blink, not Glaives. Interesting. So we have early Blink on the horizon here for Classic. The Classic is forced back home, and this is allowing Scarlett to drone. Allowing Scarlett to drone up, saturate, take gases, 4th base on the way. All the pressure was alleviated thanks to the Ling run by. This was worth it for Scarlett. Now working towards Eva Chamber alongside Lair. This feels like +1 melee, but now here comes the counterattack. And Scarlett, has she been too greedy? Scarlett, remember, has been droning, and Scarlett is not ready for this. Lings are on the way. This is looking dicey. And on the one hand, it was good damage, but on the other hand, is not ready for this. Worker's going to be pulled away. Adepts, they get into the mineral line. They target down some drones. 1, 2 drones going down. Getting up to 3. As they shade into the natural stasis goes off as well. Ay, ay, ay. And this is getting out of hand. Getting up to 5, getting up to soon to be 6 drone kills, 7 drone kills even. Another stasis. Another stasis going off. Scarlett does pull away. 10 drone kills go, 10 workers go down. And with that, Classic is successful. And remember, this was only 6 Adepts. This is not a big Adept commitment here. It's only 6. Behind this, Classic fully saturated on 3 bases, working towards Blink, +1, Temple Archives on the way. Sorry, Temple Archives 4 Storm, 4 Archons, 4th base as well. Classic looking solid back at home. And it's going to be on Scarlett to recover here. Infestation is on the way. Interesting. I'm curious what the plan is from here, as we already have the Hydra. Okay, so it's going to be Ling Hydra into Lurker Tech. But Scarlett needs time. Scarlett needs time to recover, to re-drone, to resaturate. And you can see the Classic is being active. Unlike Geralt, who was more defensive and more passive, Classic, he's just constantly in the face of Scarlett. Moving in once again, taking down more creep. Maintaining map control. Scarlett does bypass those stalkers. Heads towards the bases. Back at home, there is a wall. Scarlett heads towards a mineral line. No shield battery, bit of greedy here from Classic. Lings, they slip in. Probes are going to be going down. Not bad. Getting 3, getting almost up to 4. So 3 probe kills. Behind this, Lurker Den is on the way. Now, if Scarlett can survive until Lurker Tech, like, she's almost there. If she can make it to Lurkers, if she can morph in some Lurkers, she can hold and defend against the eventual push of Classic. Scarlett is almost there. Needs a little bit more time. Speaking of, High Templar are amassing. A Storm is almost done. Charge is finishing as well. It's gonna be close. As we mentioned, there's a window. There's a window in time here where Scarlett is vulnerable. Scarlett needs time for Lurkers, and they're not ready yet, and Classic is pushing. Classic is moving out. He's not allowing Scarlett to have that breathing room to be able to comfortably get into Lurker Tech. Classic moving in. Lurker Den is done in a couple of seconds. As Classic pushes forward. Does move forward. Storm's going to be popping up. The base is exposed. Storm in the mineral line. And Hydras are being forced back. And there's still, what, 2 more Storms? At least 2 more. I mean, really nice concave here by Scarlett. Forcing out the Storms early. Ooh, a better Storm towards the end. Let's see if Scarlett does hold, does defend, does force back the army, and a nice defense here by Scarlett. Again, really nice concave, really rarely did a stack up. Rarely stacked up the army. Stutter says forward, takes down the Zealots, getting into over the High Templar, getting into over the Stalkers as well. And Scarlett holds. Scarlett, she holds on, she does defend, she does survive, and now you know what time it is. It's time for Lunkers. Let's go. It's going to be Lurker time. A second Lurker Den gets thrown down. We do have attempted Sky Toss here from Classic. Sky Toss is on the way. As here come the Lunkers. 8, 9 Lurkers now morphing in for Scarlett. And the game continues. And again, that was a very clutch hold here from Scarlett. It was a little bit more slow paced, but a lot of it came down to Scarlett's spread. She spread out her Hydras very nicely there to make sure that the Storms were not really, they weren't really getting too much value. The Storms were decent, but we never saw a juicy Storm until the very end. There was like one good Storm. Outside of that, they grazed the army. So Scarlett did hold. Oh, Spots more High Templar. Oh, that's a brutal storm on the Hydras though. Yeah, much more brutal storm. At the same time, Lurker is going across the map, not defending back at home. Bold move here out of Scarlett, but it pays off. It pays off. She barely holds on top of the ramp. Lings are here for a counterattack, but there's a wall of cannons and shield bodies. Oh my god, there's just so much to defend. Oof, once again, the storms are brutal. The Lurkers, they're barely not done in time. It is close. But the Lurker counterattack here, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Classic does break through. This was a big gamble for Scarlett, but in the end, they're Tempest to defend. And Classic breaks through. Classic breaks through the main army. Getting on top of the Hydras, breaking through all the Lurkers. The final Lurkers are going to be killed by these Tempests. GG gets called, and Classic will take game number 1. Will take a lead over Scarlett. Whew. GG. Again, a much more intense game here. Classic was constantly in the face of Scarlett when it came to the Adept harass, when it came to the Stalker move out, and the initial High Templar timing as well. I was very impressed that Scarlett did defend just before Lurker. She was able to defend against those High Templar, defending against the Storm. It was impressive, but as we saw after that defense, Scarlett went for a big gamble, a big gambit, went for a big Lurker counterattack across the map, and tried to defend with purely Ling Hydra. It was risky, wasn't worth it. That Lurker counterattack ran into Tempest. It ran into Tempest and Lurkers that were stuck. They didn't really get any value. I think they may have killed the Cyber Core at the wall. Maybe a gateway at the wall, but nothing major was done. That meant the Scarlett was vulnerable back at home without the Lurkers. So it was a really risky move. It was a big gambit. It did not pay off in the end. And with that, Classic breaks through. GG. With that, we're getting into our next game. Now, what bodes well to me is that 1, Scarlett was able to survive until Lurkers, which was impressive. 2, if Scarlett had kept the Lurkers at home, the game probably would have progressed. I still would have given the edge to Classic just because Skytoss was building up, right? Like, Classic is already working on Skytoss, so that's already a rough position to be in as a Zerg player. But the game would have continued. And we'll see if we can bring us to the ace match. Let's go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing his new team, Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. Again, Scarlett's marking her return to open cups and open tournaments with this week's WardiTV Monday. And we'll see if she can bring us to game 3. I want to believe she can, but welcome one and all to Ultra Love. We've been here before. Once again, to reiterate, Ultra Love is a more defensive map. It is more defensive than Ley Lines, the map that we were just on. It is more difficult to break a player on 3 and 4 bases. We did see an example of that in the previous series between Scarlett and Geralt, where Geralt was able to defend against the all-in very nicely, and also stabilize on 4 bases as well. Eventually, Scarlett did break him, but it took a lot. It took a lot to break Geralt on 4 bases and to bring him down. So we'll see if Scarlett takes a more aggressive approach and goes for an earlier all-in. We'll see if Scarlett tries to play a more later game approach instead. We'll see. We shall see. So now we are building up. Looks like once again a Stargate opener out of Classic. Does set up his pylon here in his main. So gate expanded Cybercore into said Stargate opener. Everything so far looking normal. And we'll see if either player does deviate here from the norm. If we see Spire play and Muta play, for example, if we get into earlier Overlord Speed, into an earlier German Taxi. If Classic goes into Glaive Adepts. We'll keep an eye on our players. But now we are settling in. Third base is being taken. And there's that Stargate for Classic. Classic does threaten the natural. So far, Scarlett's keeping up and doesn't lose any drones. Nice sport tricks out of Scarlett. Doesn't lose anything at the natural. Scarlett does defend. Behind this Classic is going to be opening up Oracle. Which, again, to be expected. Just Oracle opener into a third base. It's really after this third base is taken that we're going to be keeping an eye open for when it comes to the Twilight Council timings, the Forge timings, the upgrade of choice. Now, we have seen Scarlett really enjoy making a wave of Lings at this point to not just shut down the initial harassing Adepts, but to go across the map and delay the third. Last game wasn't too successful, did kill 3 Adepts if you recall, but wasn't able to force a cancel. So we'll see if Scarlett does double down into mass Ling again. 12 Lings are on the way. 14, yeah, once again we're getting ready for the counterattack. So 14 Lings off of 36 drones. Once again, early Twilight Council out of Classic. Third base on the way. And the goal here should be for Scarlett to try and deny the third base, but you can see that this time Classic races back home with the Adepts. And Classic moves out. Lings counterattack. Last game, Classic was caught out with 2 Adepts. This time, all 4 are back at home. So Classic this time is expecting the Ling counterattack. This time Classic is ready for it. Ling's taken from the expansion. Scarlett does head towards the natural. Classic looking solid. Does defend. Meanwhile, 1, 2, 3. Oh god, getting up to 4, 5, 6 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, this shouldn't happen. 8 workers go down. At least Scarlett does get the Oracle, but that was still some brutal damage. No Spore. No Spore in position. And the Queens were barely not enough. They at least do punish the Oracle. That tells me that Classic has less support for his army. But that was still brutal damage. It isn't just that we saw 8 drone kills here, but on top of that, these Lings were also a big investment, and it wasn't quite worth it either. That was a lot of Lings, and what do we see? Overload speed. Once again, we've seen this before on Ultra Level, we're going to see it again. It is going to be a German tax. The overload speed is on the way. That's going to be for Lords. We do have the Roach Horn on the way as well for Roach Ravager, +1 melee. Scarlett is going to commit, is going to be aggressive here. I say that's a 4th base on the way. Scarlett is getting up to 3 base saturation initially. And we're waiting for the move out. Oh. I say 3 base saturation, but 3 drones going to be going down. Up to 4 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. And here we go. Overlord speed is now done. And here come the Lords. Here comes the taxi. We're loading up. Oh, this is fancy though. This I was not expecting. We have Tunneling Claws. Oh, I think that's a misclick. Oh no, I think that's a misclick because there's no Burrow. Yeah, there's no Burrow getting Tunneling Claws. That I believe should be Roach Speed. Ay, ay, ay. Regardless, here comes the taxi. Here comes the push. Off of 59 workers. The 4th base is just for Larva. And I'm hoping the Scarlett does notice in time to start Roach Speed. Classic already being proactive, meeting the army. Ling drop into the main. Main push right down the center. Classic does have Warpins. It does react in time. Scarlett pushing in between the bases. Stasis does go off. Brutal stasis trap. And this is looking a little bit bleak here. Yeah, nice force shields on the ramp. Classic, he defends the natural. Likewise, Stalkers, they defend 3rd. Scarlett trying to gain ground. And a lot of probes are falling. Boys are being pulled. Okay, not bad. 10 probe kills. 10 workers. The wall is being broken. Storm is not yet done. Scarlett breaking into the natural. Not bad. But does she have enough to keep going? As that's what? 5 shield batteries at the 3rd base. Ay, ay, ay. That's a lot of shield batteries. Biles, they knocked down 2. They at least attempt to. Storm is now done. Oh. Yeah, Storm is done. Stalkers are coming from behind. Ravagers are surrounded, and there's no way out of this. The Ravagers, they all go down. GG gets called, and Classic survives, defends the all-in, and Classic will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, all-ins are more common here on Ultra Love, but Classic was able to cripple Scarlett early on, killing all those workers, and was able to defend very nicely there with a wall of shield batteries, getting into Storm as well. I will say that Scarlett did a great job at breaking into the natural, but once again wasn't quite able to do more damage than that, as Storm did finish in time and Scarlett was shut down. Also a little bit unfortunate that there was no Roach Speed towards the end there, but even with Roach Speed it still would have been difficult to break Classic. Like Classic, he was just a lot more proactive, even slowing down the all-in with the Stalkers, chipping away at the Ravagers. Did a great job at just slowing down Scarlett, and GG. GG, well played. With that, Classic will claim the series, and we are getting ready to follow Classic into the next round. I would imagine. Let's find out. Let us find out. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look back at yourselves. Also, a big shout out to Scarlett, because even though Scarlett went down to Classic, Classic is literally one of the best Protoss players in the world. I would say Classic is top 2 Protoss in Korea, potentially top 3 Protoss in the world, or top 4. Depending on how you look at things, but Classic is a beast. So for Scarlett to fall to Classic, there's no shame in that. Also for Scarlett to defeat Geralt does kind of say something about the current skill level of Scarlett. And again, DreamHack Dallas is still on the horizon. There's still time to grow, still time to improve, and to get ready for that big offline event, which I'm sure Scarlett is going to be a part of. So we are looking forward to it, as we have some updates coming in. From the top, Classic is in the quarterfinals, waiting for the winner of ShoWTimE and SHIN. I'm waiting for that series. So currently ByuN versus MaxPax is beginning. I do have the option to jump into that, but I believe Wardy is going to be covering that series, so Wardy has you covered with ByuN versus MaxPax. We do try to stay centralized around certain players. So up next, we're going to be focusing on ShoWTimE versus SHIN. Meanwhile, MaNa takes down Spirit 2-0. Big win there for MaNa. And Clem takes down Percival 2-0 as well. Here we go. Here we go. Likewise, we have Clem versus MaNa also about to begin. Scrolling down, we have Young Yakov. Young Yakov takes down Lemon 2-1. We have herO versus Young Yakov. Oh my God, Creator takes on Solar 2-0. That's a big win. That's a big win there for Creator. Takes on Solar 2-0, waiting for the winner of herO and Young Yakov. ByuN, of course, takes on Nice. MaxPax takes down Ragnar. We have ByuN versus MaxPax in the quarterfinals. Again, as I mentioned, that is going to be covered by Wardy. But yeah, that's crazy. GG, well played. I did not expect Solar to go down that early. So that's a big win there for Creator. Very impressive, as lower bracket is progressing, of course. But again, as I mentioned, we are focusing our attention on ShoWTimE, SHIN, and Classic. I don't know if they're being covered by any of the other casters. Let me just double check. I know that Coco's usually all on Clem. Looks like Inu is covering MaxPax and ByuN. Indy, I think, is covering MaNa. Yeah, Rex also on Max Extras ByuN. Okay. So we have some downtime. Here. I don't think anyone is currently casting ShoWTimE and SHIN. So I know that they're currently 6 minutes into their game, so we're going to be slowing things down here. We'll wait for them to open up. We might be able to jump into game 2 or game 3, the ace match, or even follow them into Classic, the winner of that series, I mean. So we have some downtime here, so we're going to be going on a short break. And again, the plan is to either jump in mid-series into SHIN versus ShoWTimE, or follow that into Classic. One or the other. That is the plan. Otherwise, we're going to be going on a short break. We'll see you guys soon. After the break, take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. We'll be back soon with some more StarCraft. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the WardiTV Monday number 35. I hope you enjoyed that lovely break, the brutal OST. Do apologize for the extended break, but we are here. We are back with our next series with our fresh best of 3. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. Oh my god. We have the Blue Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is SHIN. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our fresh best of 3 quarterfinals match. As a reminder, the winner of this series will advance on to the semifinals to face off against the winner of Clem and MaNa. So Clem and MaNa facing off. Meanwhile, MaxPax just took down ByuN 2-0. MaxPax waging in the lower semifinals. herO and Creator waiting to face off against MaxPax as well. So we have PvPs amongst PvPs. We have a Protoss confirmed for the lower, or for the finals at least, through the lower half of the brackets. But will it be a Terran, Zerg, or Protoss opponent? Yet to be determined. Let's go. Who'll be the next finalist here? As for now, we're going to be settling in. Again, we just featured Classic against Scarlett, and Classic was able to flex his more aggressive tendencies against Scarlett. We'll see how SHIN will compare though, because SHIN likewise is often a little more of an active player. SHIN is very fond of 3-base all-ins. Like, I think of a lot of 3-base all-in play, like 4th base just for Larva, and then like Ling Hydra-based play out of SHIN. Does very often embrace that kind of style. Coming into Pylon, I do kind of favor that. I do favor that just because of how open these spaces are. We mentioned this previously. Pylon is a very wide map, that is true, but the rush distance by ground is very direct. It's very direct, it's much shorter here, and the bases are more open. You can see here, a much more open 3rd base, so you can get an arc, you can get a nice concave as the aggressing player. Same can be said here towards the left-hand side. I would say that this space is more secure just because of the ramp, the more narrow ramp and the more choke point here towards the left-hand side, but this triangular base can be more exposed, and likewise, there is an avenue here in between the 3rd, the natural, and the 4th base. There is an angle here where you can just attack in and go straight for the kill, straight for the natural instead. So you do have options with how aggressive you want to be on Pylon. Again, it's more open than Ultra Love at least, but we'll see if we can get there. For now, Classic does poke in. 3rd base on the way. Again, hatch gas pool, standard play out of SHIN, nothing crazy, nothing wild, no early gas, no early pool, no early timings. As Classic does go for a Stargate opener back at home, opening up with the Oracle. Oracle is on the way. Just opening up with said Oracle. Likewise, a couple of Lings are amassing here for SHIN. We have 6 more Lings on the way. Should just make sure he's secure against Adepts. As Adepts say, ooh, take down the Tumor. Nice pickup. Tumor goes down. The Lings, they keep up with Adepts as well. As we see Classic threaten. Oracle has arrived. As the Oracle rocks up as SHIN, he does try to catch that Adepts. Adepts, they shade into the natural. They don't commit. Lings, they find the Adepts. They will force activation of the Pulsar Beam, or at least they try to. Now it doesn't commit. Behind this, Twilight Council is now on the way. Now, Forge alongside it, this does feel like interesting. I was going to say Blink, but if you recall, if you get a Twilight Council this early on, you often do delay your Forge. Are we going to Charge instead? Keep it out on Classic to see if this is +1 and Blink or +1 and Charge instead. So my eye's going to be on Classic. For now, he does poke out, takes down some of the tumors. He's being active. SHIN is still just droning, just saturating, building up his army, building up his economy, more importantly. Just droning up as much as he can. Eva Chamber's on the way. This feels like +1 melee. Eva Chamber's on the way. We have our tech of choice, +1 and Blink, not +1 in Charge. Okay, going for a standard follow-up. Building up towards a longer game. Nice reactions out of SHIN. Pulls away in time. Now against +1 and Blink Stalkers, Ling Hydra is ideal, so we're leaning towards +1 melee. If we see +1 range, then this may be a 3-base all-in as we can head towards 3-base saturation into Mass Hydra. We'll keep an eye on SHIN as they do actually get past the army. Yeah, they're shading into the main. So far, no major economic damage yet. Adepse commit to the shade. They get into the main base. Drones are going to be falling, and SHIN, he reacts a little bit too late. Other boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled. Drones are going down. It's going to be 5, 6, up to 7 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. Can we get 8? Can we get 9? Here we go. 8. We get 9 drones towards the end. Just barely. It's getting even up to 10. Oh, no. 10 workers go down again. That is brutal damage. And Shinny has to counterattack. But back at home, what is, I mean, we have Souls in position. Oracle's racing back home in time. There's the NG overcharge. And Shin, he is deflected. He is deflected. We have +1 in range on the way. As we mentioned, if we saw +1 range, this is leaning towards a 3-base all-in. What I mean by that, we should be seeing a 4th base just for Larva. We should be taking all 6 gases, but we'll see if Shin actually drones up the 4th. We'll see if he actually makes any more workers from there, or if he just masses up Ling Hydra. With that +1 timing. Oh, actually does go for the forward base. My apologies. With this expansion, there is that high yield gas geyser, true. Does have the gas. Meanwhile, Lings, they attempt to surround. They will pick off 1 stalker. They get 1. Stalker goes down. Storm is on the way for Classic, building up towards a longer and later game. I mean, Classic is looking really comfortable. After all that damage, he's getting to Blink Stalkers, +1, +2, charge, Storm. Classic is settling in. Meanwhile, we spoke about SHIN going for a 3-base all-in, and if you notice, SHIN, he has not made any drones. SHIN, he's cutting workers at 66. He has not actually drone up his 4th base. He transfers to the 4th just for the gas geyser, but I believe this should just be for Mass Ling Hydra. Yeah, so 3-base all-in, nice around. Ooh, catches out the Oracle, takes down some of the Soldiers. Massive catch here from SHIN. Yeah, nice start, and here we go. He's building up nothing but Ling Hydra again. He is not droning up that 4th base whatsoever. He did transfer over just for extra gas, and it's all or nothing. And again, +1 range did scream that as he's knocking down those rocks, opening up the map. Banelings are morphing in. Banelings towards left hand side, and Storm is going to be ready. That's a lot of High Templar. That's how many? That's 6 High Templar. Oh, say 6 down to 4. Each with at least 1 Storm. It's not going to be easy here for SHIN to break. SHIN's still waiting for Hydra speed, and now he does lunge forward. But the Storms will zone him away. SHIN trying to lure the army out into the open. Storm on the Banelings. Doesn't either. Banelings will leave from behind. Bailing speed is still not done. Storm's being spent on the Hydras, but that's the final Storm. And SHIN is done as SHIN. He breaks the main army, baits out the Storm, takes down the Archons, and the Classic will lose everything. And from here, we send it. Remember, no drones, no saturation, 3-base all-in out of SHIN. He catches the army, and Classic is not ready for this. He was not ready for this. He was caught out in the open. And we send it, Pap. We send it. Keep going. As SHIN, he stutter sets forward. There are some Storms to defend. We do see SHIN and pre-split. Hey, pre-splits his army. Banelings roll in. GG gets called, and SHIN will take game number 1. Whew. GG. SHIN does take a lead in the series. Again, it was a very intense game. We saw Classic initially take a lead, getting a lot of economic damage early on. But after that damage, SHIN, he did decide to commit into a 3-base all-in. But this was a boosted 3-base all-in more than normal because of that high yield gas geyser. The high yield gas meant that we had extra gas for more Banelings, more Hydras, for bailing speed as well. So he did have that boosted economy, and with that, he was able to overwhelm, cash Classic out. Classic, it looks like he didn't recognize that it was an all-in. What I mean by that is that Classic, upon seeing the 4th base, upon seeing some of the droning, he probably thought that SHIN was droning, which is why he was active when we knew that he wasn't. If Classic was aware that there were no drones on the way, Classic shouldn't have been out on the map. He should have been defending back at home and turtling up with shield batteries and with cannons. As you saw, no side defense at the fourth base, so so Classic was caught with his pants down. Classic, he did not realize how aggressive, how committed SHIN was. GG. GG well played with that. SHIN does catch him off guard, and now we are getting into game number 2. Let's go. We're jumping into game 2 here, and we'll see if SHIN can claim the series or if Classic can recover and force the ace match. Let's go. As we are loading into Ultra Love. We've featured this map every game so far in this series, in this broadcast. Every series has featured Ultra Love in some way, shape, or form. Let's go. We're going back in. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Virtus Pro down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can force that ace match. It is a Classic. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Weibo Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is SHIN. Here we go. Going for a 15-15 opener. Let's go. Does open up 15-15. With this, we'll have an earlier hatchery, an earlier spawning pool, but delayed gases. So later gases here from SHIN. So he does mix up his opener here, coming into game number 2. As I'm assuming he's going pool, pool before gas. Likewise, standard opener out of Classic. Now, thanks to this 15-15, it does mean that SHIN, he can freely expand without worrying about any kind of hatch block. Does get that up and running. But once again, welcome one and all to Ultra Love. Again, we feature this map quite often here tonight already. Once again, just to reiterate, Ultra Love is one of the more defensive maps in the map pool, is known for having a more secure 3 and 4 base setup here on Ultra Love. Likewise, though, again, if you can break a player before they can get up to 4 bases, that is more ideal, and we have seen in every series so far all-ins. We've seen a lot of German taxis, a lot of Queen and Roach space all-ins here on Ultra Love. Likewise, that's going to be available to SHIN as well if he does take some damage early on, or if he sees an opening to try to break Classic as well. So it is very common to see all-ins of some kind here on Ultra Love. Specifically, not necessarily because of how exposed the third base is, not at all, but the rush distance by ground is really short, and we have the added benefit here of trying to strike and go straight for the natural instead of the third, and that is where damage can be done at the natural. Meanwhile, Stargate opener out of Classic. So you have the Stargate. SHIN is investing into link speed, does pull out of gas, and is now claiming his third. Claiming that third base. From here, droning, saturating. Likewise, Oracle opener out of Classic. Again, to be expected. And we'll see if Classic can replicate his success from last game. Remember, last game he got 10 drone kills. In a way, you could argue that he forced the all-in out of SHIN, which is why it's a little bit on Classic that didn't recognize and respect it. Wasn't necessarily ready for it. But did do a great job early on. As oracles are moving out. They do threaten the bases. So far, 2 greens in position. They won 2 drone kills, nothing major. 2 drones go down. Classic does pull away. And we are waiting for said Twilight Council. And there, the Twilight Council has been thrown down. We're expecting a forge alongside it. If it's Twilight Council and a forge, should be pulse on and blink. Classic slips in, gets another 2, gets another 3. Oh, no sport the third. But there are 3 queens, and the Oracle is punished very hard. Oracle takes a lot of damage, takes a lot of hits, is going to be zoned away. And SHIN is holding. Behind this, no Forge. No Forge, extra gateways. This does feel like... Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say Glaive Adapts, but a Forge gets run down here at the natural, so it's going to be +1 and Blink. Not Glaives, but a later Forge and a later upgrade. As Blink is on the way. Behind this, SHIN throws down the Roach Warren. Based on what SHIN has seen, this does look like Glaive Adepts because there is no Forge. You can see that it's hidden on the right hand side, so that's forcing out Roaches. Ideally, against +1 Blink Stalkers, you want to skip Roaches and go straight into Link Hydra. So Classic is forcing inefficiencies out of his opponent. So he does force out that Roach Warren. Upside through Thread in the Shade. Once again being active. Station Trap into the natural. Oh, SHIN does pull away. Oof, getting 1 drone caught. Just the 1. Roach speed is in production. And we are going Roaches into a Spire into Muta play. Let's go. The Spire has been thrown down. My eyes are on SHIN. Getting ready for mutas. We'll see if he does keep this hidden. Meanwhile, Classic behind this is securing his third, taking gases and taking up not into Colossus, into Storm. We've spoken about this in the past, but you've seen it already here in tonight's broadcast. No Colossus production because of the change, because of the NG overcharge. High Templar are a lot more lucrative, a lot more tempting, and a lot more standard in today's meta in PvZ. So +1 Blink into Storm. As things, they do hold position in the mineral line, not bad. They get 1 probe. 1 worker goes down. Link's gonna be forced back. At the same time, Classic pushing in towards the right-hand side. But nice stasis. Stasis goes off. Roaches are exposed. And SHIN taking a lot of losses here. Has to fall back. Falls back to the Queens. The base is under fire. The Queens will help hold. SHIN defends. And SHIN the Spire is done. Spire's complete, but where are the mutas? SHIN, he was forced to make all these Roaches. But there we go, 9 mutas on the way. That is more than enough to one-shot, and so far unscouted completely. Classic, he does have some shield batteries here at the third base. The main base is exposed, the natural also exposed as well. Classic, he has no inkling of what's going on. He has no idea. But he does have a terrifying army. That's a lot of storms. So I can definitely see these mutas doing a lot of damage. The question becomes, can SHIN survive the counterattack? Because Classic, he's moving out and he is spotted. Ooh. Mutas, they're making their way across. Again, this is not going to be an easy defense. We need some Ravagers. Only 1 Ravager. That's not going to be good enough. Lings, they bid at the first storm. But the first storm does connect. Oh, Ravager is exposed. We just see SHIN collapsing in the army. Gets off the High Templar. Nice around. And most of the High Templar are forced to morph into Archons. SHIN, he's holding. Whew, a very nice surround. SHIN, he holds on, he shuts down the Archons, he forces back the Stalkers, and this army will not break SHIN. And what's important, bam, mutas into the main. Mutas, they hit the main base, probes are falling, Classic is being pulled apart, he has no main army, forced to recall. And this is doing crippling damage, 11 probe kills. And SHIN is not done, Blink is on cooldown. Getting up to 13, 14, 15 probes. And behind this, SHIN is building up his own Link main army. SHIN does overextend. Bleeds out 2 mutas. 2 mutas go down towards the end, but that's still going to be 17 probe kills. And SHIN, he's about to max. He's about to max out. And again, the scariest moment was the fight that occurred here out in the open. But SHIN, with a beautiful surround, he forced out all the storms, collapsed on the army. I wasn't sure he could. But that was a game-winning moment here for him. Muta's now being dealt with. And here comes SHIN. SHIN is up 40 supply. Going for the 4th base. Muta's being dealt with. SHIN, ooh, does take some storms to the face. That's a lot of storms. SHIN having a hard time pushing in. Another storm on the Mailings. We spoke about this. We spoke about how defensive you can be on 4 bases here on Ultra Love. SHIN is at a good start, but can he end the game? He wants that High Templar, does get it. Files are connecting. But Classic is holding. Classic is holding on. Okay, that's a lot of Blink Stalkers. We spoke about this earlier, but again, Ling Hydra's more ideal against Blink Stalker. Ling Roach Ravager can struggle as a lot of roaches are going down. Expensive losses there for SHIN. Has to pull back. Classic, he is holding, he's surviving. Again, this is difficult to break a player on 4 bases. And SHIN is not droning up. He's choosing not to drone. From here, he could be teching. He could be going into Hydras, into Hive, into a 5th base, into 80 drones. SHIN is making the choice to commit and to stay all in. Didn't have to. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. As that is so many Blink Stalkers. Likewise, he has 6 High Templar. Like, SHIN, he was looking solid here, but again, the Storms, they deny the Banelings. Another Storm on the Roach Ravager. Ooh. Phoenix goes down, but the Storms are brutal. And SHIN, he can't really engage here. Oh! Some Banelings do connect. A handful of them. But Classic will still take this fight. At the same time, though, oh, 19 probes! Yeah, at the same time, Baneling right here into the 3rd. This is what's important. 19 workers just went down. And SHIN, he's not stopping. SHIN, he is still choosing not to drone and not to expand. I do like this. So SHIN, he's going to rotate. He's rotating over towards the 3rd. Now there are less defenses here. He's going to force the attention at the 3rd base instead. And you can see the Baneling run by towards the 4th. But there are cannons. We'll see if SHIN can pull this up. SHIN building up. I mean, it was nice getting 19 probe kills here, but this is still looking better for Classic. Like, as the game progresses, it's just getting better and better for him. Like, SHIN, as the time goes on, is getting worse for the Zerg. Banelings are getting ready. This time, Classic is going to be more attentive to the run by. And you can see Classic is fortifying himself. We have more cannons, more shield batteries. Classic becoming more secure over time, and now there's less opportunity for SHIN. There's less opportunity. See, just more static defense. Aye. We have Skytoss on the horizon as well. Main armies are to engage, but one army's not quite like the other. The soup does lie. Banelings, they roll in. They get some decent damage. They get 9 probes. Sorry, 10 probes even. That's okay. It's okay. Still not ideal. Classic pushing towards that 4th. Moving him to the bases. SHIN getting ready for this around. It does roll in. That's a lot of storms. The High Templar, they should be caught though. Oh my god, massive storms on the Banelings. There's still, what, 2 High Templar left. And SHIN is running a team. He's running a team. He's running out of units. SHIN has been outscaled here throughout the game. 12, 13 drones going to be going down. GG gets called. SHIN is broken, and Classic ties up the series 1-1. Whew. GG. We are going to the ace match. Again, as you mentioned, time and time again, it is very difficult to break a player on 4 bases on Ultra Love. SHIN did a great job early on with the mutas. We mentioned we were praising SHIN at the time. He was able to collapse on the army, cleaned everything up, got into the mineral lines, got 15 probe kills. That was all amazing. And from there, SHIN had to make a choice. Either go into the all-in and try to break a Classic before he stabilizes, or drone, tech up, and take another base. He made his choice. He did attempt the follow-up all-in. But we saw that Classic was able to barely hold on, barely defend, and SHIN committed. He just kept on going. He chose not to drone, chose not to expand, he chose not to tech up, just kept hammering his head against that brick wall, and Classic did defend, did survive, did weather the storm, and does tie up the series. Let's go. From here, we're going into the ace match. We're going into game 3, and we'll see how this story ends. Do we go the way of SHIN, the way of Classic, the way of the Protoss, the way of the Zerg? We're about to find out on Maganatha. Let's go. Let us go. Alright, getting into that ace match. And we're going to be loading into the largest map in the map pool. Oh boy, you don't get larger than MaNa. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of MaNa, we have the South Green Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Weibo Gaming WBG. It is SHIN. We go. As the players are settling in and embracing MaNa. And again, welcome one and all to the first time this broadcast to the largest map in the map pool. MaNa, it's huge, it's massive, there are plenty of bases, long rushes by ground, wide open spaces, kind of here. I say wide open spaces, there are a lot of choke points, a lot of rocks and towers can be knocked down to wall these areas off, to create more choke points, to defend, to survive, and to maintain yourself on a 5-base economy. What I will say here, as opposed to other maps, yes, this is a large map, but this is a far cry from maps like Neon Violet Square or Abyssal Reef. These maps that I just mentioned, even King's Cove, they have a much more secure 4 and 5 base setup. Here, it is more spread out. Your 3rd base, your 4th base, your 5th base, you can just see here just how far apart these bases are. So yes, the map is large. Yes, there are a lot of bases, but the bases are more isolated from each other. They're more spread out, they're more exposed, and it is more difficult to rotate to keep up with an aggressive player and to defend on 5 bases, let alone a 6th base as well. Again, this is the trajectory that most maps are heading towards. This was the big controversial point about the older maps last season, about Neon Violet Square, King's Cove, and Abyssal Reef, is that those maps were large, a lot of bases, and also defendable as well. Like, they favor turtle play. Here, less so. Here, like, there are more ways to abuse and to counteract and to break a defending player, to break a turtling player. Which is how, again, most modern maps are. So we'll see what trajectory or what kind of direction SHIN goes in. I would hope to see SHIN embrace a longer game state and be a little bit more willing to drone up and be greedy and get up to a 4-base economy. But we haven't seen that yet out of SHIN this series. He can, don't get me wrong, he can play macro, he can play late game. And I feel like this map is going to incentivize that. We'll see. We shall see. As SHIN does claim his 3rd. Does claim his 3rd. Adepts, they do threaten Shades. Once again, Stargate opener out of Classic. Every game so far, Classic is going for Stargate into a 3rd base, into +1 and Blink. I see no exception here. I feel like charge-based follow-ups or even Glaive Adepts are going to be less effective on MaNa. Just because of the size of the map. But we'll see. As Classic does threaten a Shade. SHIN is keeping up. Adepts, they do get into the mineral lines. 1, 2 drones going to be going down. Getting to 3. Getting to 3 drone kills. As Classic is claiming that 3rd. Oracle does pull away. There's that Twilight Council follow-up. And our eyes are our own Classic here to see if he does throw down that Forge. But now just the Twilight Council. Which means there is a chance that he might go into... never mind. I was going to say he might go into Glaives and MaNa. There's the Forge, so it's going to be +1 and Blink on the horizon here for Classic. Getting to Blink Stalkers. Likewise, Eva Chamber here out of SHIN. This does look like +1 melee out of SHIN. Getting ready for Ling Hydra. Yep, there we go, as we mentioned, plus on melee. So again, the reason for this is because it was an earlier Evo chamber. Don't often rush into plus one carapace or plus one range or anything like that. So melee for Lings, and this leads into a more efficient composition. This also means that most likely SHIN is going to be skipping roaches. There's no reason to get a roach warren. So ideally you want to skip it and go straight into lair and go straight into hydras instead. Speaking of, there is that lair on the way. Meanwhile, Classic rocking up with his 6 adepts. Sorry, 7 adepts even. One more than usually. Does threaten the shade. So far, SHIN is keeping up. Stasis is going to be going off. Nice spade on the stasis. Stasis is baited out. Adepts, they keep pushing into the mineral lines. They get 1, they get 2, they get 3 drones. Not bad. 3, almost up to 4 drones going down. SHIN doesn't pull away far enough. Ooh, and he goes back in. Do you have the recall? As we come in for the surround, but that's still 6 drone kills, and the Adepts, they get away. They do escape, and nice damage here by Classic. Very nice. And SHIN, he's not set up for an all-in. Like, SHIN, he has to just re-drone. He has to re-drone, resaturate oracles. They put it back in, they get another drone. Another 2 workers. 9 in total. 3 workers even. Nice surround. Blink is done in 3 seconds. 1 stalker goes down, gets 2. Not bad. Catching out 2 stalkers. Trading minerals for gas. Behind this, SHIN still just redroning, resaturating. Does have a bank, but that bank is about to be spent on hydras. Yeah, speaking of, hydras now on the way. Oh, as more drones going to be going down, this is getting brutal here. Thankfully, SHIN does pull away, but that's still going to be a kill on the Spore. Right on the drone even. At the same time, nice surround. Oh, that's a kill. It's a kill, not a cancel. That should not have happened. SHIN, finally something goes his way. Isn't taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of damage. That is a kill on the Nexus. Again, that should not have happened. As Lings, they threaten once again. Do see Classic trying to wall up. SHIN droning, taking gases. As we mentioned here on this map, we do expect SHIN to take up into Hive and take up into Lurkers. That's the direction he's heading in. Heading towards that Lurker tech. Rock's being knocked down. Lurker 10 is on the way. SHIN, he's setting up his posturing, but he should not commit into the bases. He should not commit into Storm. Oh. As one link gets caught. See SHIN trying to deal with these towers early on. But it's going to be forced back. Again, SHIN droning up to 76. A decent drone count. Catching out one of the oracles, not bad. 1 oracle goes down. SHIN once again rotates to deal with these rocks. Hive is on the way. And Classic has not yet begun Skytoss. He's not there yet. Nice contamination. Contamination on charge. SHIN attempting the surround, collapsing on the army. Doesn't catch too much, not yet. Storms a zone, decent storm with the Lings. Decent storm with the Hydras as well. But again, this is an awkward angle for defense here for Classic. Coming in from multiple angles, Hydras, they do start to step in. Where are the Storms? And already, Storms, they need a little bit more time. There we go, Storms are finishing, and Classic will hold. Classic, he does hold on, he does force back SHIN. I'm a little bit concerned by the lack of droning. Like SHIN, he's still only on 76 workers. He still has not really gotten another expansion. Like, that was a big commitment there from SHIN, and he did not really get too much done here. But here we go. Here come the Lunkers. Lurkers are on the way. Again, we should soon be seeing expansion out of SHIN as well. Investing into Lurker upgrades. Classic up to 83 probes. He's walling up. He's just fully walling up. And we'll see if SHIN can break his opponent. Bear this in mind. No Skytools yet. This is a late late Fleet Beacon. A late Skytools transition. It's going to be a ground-based army for Classic. Classic going for the center expansion. And SHIN can try to break this. But now though, he's unaware. He's unaware of the base. Now moving in. He's going to be walking into storms. Does burrow though. And he will break down this wall. At the same time, we do see Classic coming from behind. Yeah, Lurker's not quite in position. Hydra's getting called out. Lurkers as well. Surrounds one Immortal, but this is a messy fight for SHIN. As SHIN, he breaks down static defense, but he bleeds out a Luddling Hydra. Yeah, that was a messy fight. Can he get the expansion though? Ooh, Classic doesn't care. He doesn't care. He just moves out. And SHIN is vulnerable. SHIN, he's vulnerable back at home. There are no lurkers. There are no defensive lurkers. The base is going to go down, but that may not matter. Classic is going for the kill. Yeah, storms are available. He's got at least 4 storms. Storm zones away, gets into the mineral line, and yeah, SHIN gets caught with his pants down. The lunkers, they're racing back home. We needed them earlier. Did need them earlier. GG gets called, and Classic, he will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. It was a good run here from SHIN to make it to the quarterfinals, further than we usually see Zerg players, but does get knocked out, and now it is purely Protoss and Terran moving forward. SHIN does claim it. It was close to go all the way to the ace match. Unfortunately, SHIN, he was just caught out of position here. He had a cheeky move by pushing towards the third base of Classic, that is true, but as we saw, Classic just counterattacked. He just ignored the lurkers. He's like, you know what? Your lurkers are looking terrifying. I'm gonna just leave you to it. I'm gonna just leave you to the lurkers. I'm gonna just ignore that. I'm gonna just move on. And from there, Classic, he was able to bypass the army, get across the map, and end the game. GG. GG, well played. How do you deal with lurkers? Just ignore them. Just avoid the lurkers. Just avoid them. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Classic. And now we're getting ready for the semifinals, where we have some crazy upsets, by the way. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. Results that I was not expecting. I'll be honest, like, I do rate MaNa very highly. We do praise MaNa very often when it comes to the podcast. MaNa recently defeating players like MaxPax, and now adding to the list, not just MaxPax, MaNa takes down Clem 2-1. That's crazy. That's a crazy result. MaNa, he denies that Clem. MaNa, he proves that he is the higher seed for a reason. And Clem, he fails to earn his paycheck. Does fail to earn it. GG, well played. So Classic versus MaNa is going to be the upper semifinals, and the lower semis are going to be another we have pure Protoss. Jesus. Has that happened before? Have we ever had a WardiTV Monday where we have only Protoss in the semifinals? That is crazy. I don't think we've seen that. Like, Jesus, like, usually we have like either ByuN or Cure or Clem. Usually we have at least a Terran in the semis. Not this week. Pure Protoss. And not the expected players either. Again, Clem got shut down by MaNa, and Creator takes down herO 2-0. Big win there for Creator, as he does advance on to the semifinals instead. And up next, we have our PvPs. I mean, nothing but PvP at this point. Is going to be Creator versus MaxPax. Now, if you were here last week, you would know that we did cast Creator defeat MaxPax during the Pegasaur Cup. I think it was either in the semifinals or the quarterfinals. It was one or the other. But Creator, he did defeat MaxPax last week. We'll see if we can do it again. Despite Creator's recent result over MaxPax, MaxPax is still the favorite player, 100%. He's still the favorite player to win the entire tournament. MaxPax, he has some killer PvP, but Creator, he's done it once before. We'll see if he can do it again. Let's go. As we're getting into our next game, getting into ley lines. Here we go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming, leading this, or Presenting Samsung Gaming from the land of Denmark. It is MaxPax. And this morning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, who currently teamless, but deserving to be on a team. It is a creator. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think it will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's jump into our PvP, as we jump into our first semifinals match of the broadcast. Let's go. No disimbalance at all. I mean, if you watched SHIN versus Classic, you would know that that could have gone either way, and a lot of it came down to the positional play of SHIN, where he was he was caught with his pants down. He missed the main army, and as a result, Classic just went for the kill, went across the map. Likewise on Ultra Love as well, SHIN, he was ahead, and SHIN made the decision to commit to an all-in instead of macroing out of it. So definitely could have seen a SHIN versus Classic go either way. I cannot speak on MaNa versus Clem. I know that MaNa, he has been on fire as of late, and he can definitely spike or punch up and take down some big names. I don't know what occurred in that series, but Clem, he, I would say, has the best TVP in the world. So I think that really says more about MaNa than anything, and gives praise to MaNa. Usually Clem is winning these tournaments. Usually he is taking down, you know, players like herO, like MaxPax, like MaNa, and being our champion. So yeah, I think that does kind of deserve more praise to MaNa more than anything. But I don't know what happened in that series. I didn't see the games. Did not see the games. I believe Indy covered that series. I think Indy did cast MaNa versus Clem, and I think Coca casted that series as well. So VODs are going to be available for Coca and Indy stream for that series. Otherwise, we are settling in and getting into our PvP. For now, Gate Cyber into Stargate out of MaxPax, Standard Opener out of MaxPax. Meanwhile, Creator going for a 2-gate opener himself. So Creator, he has the option to go for an all-in. He has the option to commit, to go for a double Stalker into a 3rd and 4th Stalker into a proxy across the map. For now, he will delay the expansion, and we'll see if he opts to skip it. Yeah, he skips. Okay. So double Stalker, he skips his 4th unit, Sentry into double Sentry into expansion. So Creator, he will be taking his own Nexus, and you can see the timings here. The Nexus is later for Creator, but only by a couple of seconds. Like, the Nexus timings are quite similar with each other, as we do not follow up with extra Stalkers. So Creator, he is going to be catching up economically. Meanwhile, Creator is going to be stuck defending. That is the advantage of MaxPax's build here, is that 1, it's very economic. 2, because of the Oracle opener, Creator has to invest in defending back at home with shield batteries and with Stalkers. So Creator is going to be stuck at home. Oracle moves out. There's the energy overcharge. Here comes MaxPax. Setting up the stasis, threatening the main. Creator is on patrol. He's on patrol. Does zone the Oracle away for the time being. Behind this, setting up shield batteries, a decent force with locking down the Stalker. Yeah, the Stalker is locked down, and the sentries, they should be able to shut down the Stalker. There is no escape. Nice pick up. Nice pick up on the Stalker. Meanwhile, MaxPax, what's important here, he does not invest into a 2nd Oracle. It is very common to do so. Instead, faster Twilight Council into a Gateway Explosion into Blink Stalker. So Blink versus Blink. And just the 1 Oracle. It's going to be on Creator to confirm, and it looks like he does. Yeah, he does confirm nothing else being built from the Stargate. He confirms the Twilight Council follow-up. Creator knows. Oh, nice stasis. Stasis goes off. MaxPax, he breaks out. Breaks out of the contain. The Oracle is active once again. MaxPax getting ready for his own 3rd expansion. Stalker does go down. Takes down the initial Stalker. Likewise, stasis trap into the mineral line. Oh! Catching out a probe. This MaxPax does pull away. Does pull away. MaxPax securing his own third base. Oh! Diving on the main army. And Creator, can they catch out these Stalkers? Shield Batteries not ready. Not bad. Yeah, does outposition MaxPax. Catching out 1, 2, 3 Stalkers. Locks down the army. Does force the blink. And Max, I see, bleeds out far too much here. That was how many? That was 6 Stalkers going down. So much is relying on the stasis trap. Creator, he does notice. He's so close. He's so close to breaking MaxPax. Observer has arrived. And again, Creator, he shouldn't be baited in. Oh, there we go. Takes out the stasis. Nicely done. Takes out the stasis. Does move in. Boys are being pulled. And MaxPax is barely holding on at the same time. Does go for a counterattack. Bleeding out more Stalkers. Shield Battery's almost done. Look at the army sides here. Creator barely ahead in Stalkers, but only barely. And the Oracle does pop off. Massive stasis. Again, Creator, he was so close, but he's missed his window. He has missed his window. Now there's a shield battery. Now it's up and running. MaxPax does survive, does defend. Really nice movement out of MaxPax. A lesser player would have died then and there. And Creator, he's forced back. He's forced back home. He has to get his economy back up and running. Getting his third base saturated. Getting to +1. And the game continues. The game does continue. Creator, he did get away with that Observer just in time. Did get away. Creator does, as Creator is going to be forced back. Oh. Likewise, depths are going to be cleaned up here towards that natural. Oh, I say that 5 drones going to be going down. That is brutal damage. And you can see how momentum has swung from one player to the other here. Creator, he did have momentum early on, breaking the third. After he failed to do so, MaxPax now taking the lead. Up in Stalkers. Getting his 4th base. Now the upgrades are going to be in favor of Creator. True, he has faster +1. This should lead into faster +2. Likewise, Charge is finishing up into Temple Archives, into Archon production. So Creator, the tech is going to be on his side. MaxPax will have the Stalker count though. Does have more Stalkers. Probes, they try to get past. They will. So Creator does claim his 4th. Adepts shading into the mineral lines. Creator not quite in position. And Probe's going to be going down. Creator does catch out a Stalker. He gets 2. Takes down 2 Stalkers. Mining is denied at the 3rd. And even at the natural as well. Oof. Yeah, boys are being pulled. That's going to be 3, 4, 5 probe kills. Oh, getting up to 4. Still not bad. Nice damage here from MaxPax. Meanwhile, he's caught up in the upgrades, and +2 was delayed for Creator, so +2 is now actually in favor of MaxPax. Has taken that upgrade lead. Meanwhile, targeting down the base. Base is going to go down. Creator thankfully does spot the stasis. And not baited in. And Creator, he's all in at this point, or he's committed. Lost the expansion. Likewise, MaxPax does get into the mineral lines. More probes going to be going down. MaxPax just pulling Creator apart. He even forced a recall. Creator, he doesn't want to be forced into that all in. Does recall, does defend. As more Zealot armor as they trickle in. They do keep trickling in. Getting a handful of workers. And you can see the supply disparity now. Again, Max just being that much more efficient, denying the economy time and time again. Going for the third base for a second time. Doesn't quite get it. But again, still has a massive advantage. I mean, he can just take the fight at this point. Yeah, Max actually waits for the Zealots. He wants the Immortal. The Immortal is going to be targeted down. And Creator just being torn apart here. Trying to hold on up against the wall. Stays strapped behind this. Does connect. Oh my god, it blinks into it. Ay, ay, ay. Blinks into the stasis. Max taking more bases, taking more expansions. And Creator, he can just no longer keep up. In a mirror matchup especially. Creator did have some moments in this game. But they were mainly in the early to mid game here. So once again, Max actually commits to the fight, takes down the Archon. Another stasis goes off, once again connects with Zealots. Creator trying to chase him down at the same time. Oh, that's going to be a kill on the third for the second time this game. And Creator is being overwhelmed. Bleeding out bases. Bleeding out expansions. Now from here, there are ways to recover when it comes to Dark Templar, for example, disruptors. Like, there are ways to make up for supply deficits in PvP. Unfortunately, Creator doesn't really have any of these options. We have a Dark Stride in favor of Max Packs even. As Creator forced to engage, forced to fight. Trading somewhat well here with his Zealots at least. Tanking a lot of shots. Must tank quite a bit. But it looks like this is going to be his final fight here, his last stand. Creator trying to force his way through, but again, with that many Zealots to tank, he just can't really stand up against these Stalkers. Archon goes down as well, Zealot steps forward. Max does kite back. At the same time, Zealots are just wreaking havoc, taking down more and more probes, more and more mineral lines. And GG gets called. Max will take game number 1. GG. Again, Creator, he did have a stronger start to the game, I will say. He was able to keep up economically, deny the initial Oracle harass, and get across the map. But after he failed to break the third, that was almost game then and there. Like, Creator, he lost his lead, he lost his advantage. He bled out a lot of his economy, if you remember, taking a massive stasis to the face in the main base, and GG. GG, well played. With that, Max does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Creator can force the ace match. I mentioned before that Creator, he has defeated Max. He did defeat him last week, did beat him in the Pigostar Cup. But we'll see if he can do the same here in the WardiTV Monday. We'll see if he can bring it back. Here we go. And here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner. It's the right hand corner here of Tokamak. We have the blue Protoss flavor, the blue Protoss himself, representing Storm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Max. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the red Protoss flavor, the red Protoss himself. Representing himself, currently teamless. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can force the ace match and bring us all the way to game 3. It is a Creator. Let's go. Now we know how Maxfax is going to open. We know it's going to be a gate, cyber, into Stargate, into expansion. Maxfax, he might cut some corners and he might go for a faster Nexus, but that's really the only deviation that Maxfax has. From the side of Creator, how does he approach his opponent? Does he mirror his build, and do we go into Phoenix Wars? Do we commit to a one-base all-in? What is the plan? For the most part, it's going to be on Creator to kind of adjust and to adapt. Because Maxfax is just going to do more of the same. Like that's just the dynamic of Maxfax and PvP. Here we go. Creator pokes in, back at home. What do we see? Only one gateway. So far, we are headed towards Phoenix Wars. There it is. Gate, Cyber, into Stargate, into expansion. Same can be said for Maxfax. Mirrored builds. Now again, this should not surprise you. If you've been watching PvP over the past 6 months, you would know that the Korean Protoss scene has adapted the Maxfax opener ever since November of last year. So we've seen players like Trap, Creator, herO, Classic, and Nightmare, alongside many others, all embrace this opener as well. Which is why we've seen a rise in Phoenix Wars in PvP in general in the meta, just because more players are opening up in such a way. Now, both players should be pylon blocking each other. And if we see a pylon block, yep, there it is, a Stargate. So Stargate at a Maxfax, Stargate at a Creator. There's a reason why we brought up the subject of Phoenix Wars. It's because this opener, this Cybercore opener, screams Phoenix Wars, or it screams Stargate opener. If both players open Stargate, both players have to make Phoenixes. So Phoenix Wars have begun. When it comes to Phoenix Wars, a lot of it comes down to positional play, a lot of it comes down to stacking, a lot of it comes down to certain timings as well. The timing of the second Stargate, the timing of the fleet beacon, the timing of Phoenix range. There are certain timings that can be really impactful, on top of that positional play as well. And there are some other little finer details that do kind of come into play as well. I do like this for Creator. He does get the first shut off. And he does target down the initial Zealots. Ooh, but Maxfax does target down the Adept instead. Yeah, get some hold damage going for the Adepts. Adept does shade away as they avoid each other. Adept threatening a dive from both players. Maxfax does fully wall. So does Creator. Phoenix moves out. And again, this Adept is just forcing a response early on. It's quite a nuisance. Our Creator does have that Zealot advantage, true. He is off that one unit. And the wall is about to be broken. But the Adept is caught out. Likewise, Maxfax, he will save his own Adept as he did turn back around. So I would say this is a bit of a more efficient move here by Maxfax as he saves his Adept, and that can be very useful later on. Meanwhile, ooh, faster second Stargate for Maxfax, a bit of a later second Stargate for Creator. That is dangerous. It does mean there's going to be a small window in time where Maxfax can be up a Phoenix. Just because he's making 2 Phoenixes at a time, that much faster compared to the 1 Phoenix of Creator. But again, it's a small window. With Creator, he will eventually keep up or catch up. So go, Phoenix is on the way. From here, we're just building up. Right now, Creator has a slight Phoenix advantage for that. That's about to change here. As Creator's being active. Bold move. Adept does move out on the right-hand side. We have spotter pylons for Creator. And Creator, he will pick off the Adept. Likewise, Creator, he does get the pylon in time. Now, the purpose of this pylon is to block the expansion and to keep vision across the map. Like, these pylons are so crucial when it comes to scouting, when it comes to figuring out where your opponent's Phoenixes are. Remember, Phoenixes, they don't shoot down. They do not shoot down, so these pylons are more or less permanent. We can see that we're forcing out a Zealot out of Maxfax, so Maxfax forced to be inefficient. Meanwhile, Creator goes for the faster fleet beacon. Phoenixes, they get spotted.
Our pylon is under attack.
Phoenixes are spotted. Creator stacking back at home. Now, Creator, he can try to be active and try to focus down this Zealot, but it is a bait. Like, ideally, Max, actually, you can see he's waiting. He's waiting to see if Creator takes the bait, and if Creator goes for the Zealot. When you see Creator, he ignores it. He stays at home. So Max, he's kind of laid the trap. But Creator, he just chills, takes the expansion. And remember, Creator, he doesn't have to go for it. He's waiting for his own Phoenix range. There we go. Fleet Beacon is done, and the Impulse Crystal should soon begin. Now, when it comes to Phoenix range, as Max, he gets his own pylon block. And likewise, going for more pylons. Once again, Max trying to bait out Creator. This is more impactful, though. Like, Creator, he has to engage, or at least he feels the pressure to. But he can't. So that's another pylon going down. Max, he gains map control. Thanks to that one Zealot. Takes down the pylon. And again, Creator, he knows how dangerous it is to try to go for the Zealot. As Max actually gets a pylon at both bases, at the 4th base on the right and the 4th base on the left. Meanwhile, Creator, he doesn't have his pylon blocks up. He doesn't have them going, so Max actually won't be delayed. Currently, Max is in a better position. Meanwhile, both players have finished Phoenix range. Max actually moves out, comes down to the stacking. And Creator, he spread! Now's not the time. Panic stack. But Max, I believe, takes the better trade. Yeah, it takes down 1, takes down 2. Better trade for Max. He trades 1 for 2. Results in the mineral line, killing probes. And Creator is falling apart here. Yeah, brutal losses. Creator's gonna lose everything. Every Phoenix is gonna go down. Better trade for Max. And Max, he has done it. Again, one bad fight is all it takes. And Creator, he will lose everything. GG gets called. Max, he will take the lead. He will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. Whew, GG. GG, well played, Creator. He was not ready for the engagement. He did have a comparable Phoenix count, but again, he was caught spread out. He was not stacked. Because he was spread, that means that half his Phoenixes did not fight. They did not shoot initially, so he bled out 1, 2, 3 Phoenixes real fast and real quick. And with that, GG. GG, well played. One fight is sometimes all it takes. And now we're getting into our next series. We're getting into our next best of 3. Here we go. Here we go. The upper semifinals is getting ready, and we will soon jump in. We're here to determine who has the best PvP amongst all these players. herO is not here, by the way. herO, he got knocked out earlier by Creator. Usually it's herO that is able to shut down and deny Max, but not this time. Here we have MaNa and Classic rising up instead. And to be fair, both MaNa and Classic have defeated Max in the past, but Max is still favored here. I would say Max still favored over the remaining players. So it will be an uphill battle. It's going to be uphill. And it looks like our players, they need a moment. It looks like they need a moment here, so we're going to be going on a very short break. When we come back, we'll have Classic versus MaNa coming at you next. See you soon. See you soon after the break. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that short break as we return with our upper semifinals of this week's WardiTV Monday. We already have one Protoss confirmed for the finals, and who will be the next Protoss? We're here to find out. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Virtus.pro. It is Classic. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chats. Coming into this, I would say that Classic is favored, but MaNa is a beast. Like MaNa, he is a veteran of the region, veteran of the scene, and MaNa, he has already caused a lot of upsets over the past couple of weeks, I would say. Taking down players like MaxPax, taking down players like Clem earlier today as well. Like MaNa, he does pop up from time to time, and we'll see if we can do that once again. Also, I do apologize. I do apologize if you can see a little bit of stuttering here and there in game. I do apologize. I will fix that up for the next game. I did accidentally leave my VPN on, so that is impacting this a little bit. So again, I do apologize. But I was using a VPN for SHIN versus Classic earlier, for the Korean server. And I did forget to turn it off. And I cannot turn it off mid-game, otherwise I'll just be kicked from the game. I will disconnect. So I do apologize. Until then though, double gate, 2-gate opener out of MaNa, likewise 2-gate opener out of Classic. Classic goes for a fake proxy pylon, and MaNa, he scouts, he knows that a pylon is missing, he knows that a pylon is out on the map. He doesn't know if it's real or fake, but he knows it is somewhere not in the main. So we'll see if Classic falls for the bait, and we'll see if he does overreact and over-respond. For now, he does hide his third pylon, though. Interesting. Third pylon further back in the main base, going for a Twilight Council on one base. Meanwhile, Classic, he does scout, he does confirm the Twilight Council, he is aware. He is aware. So probe is hunted down. You can see that MaNa, he's still searching for the proxy, still trying to figure out what's going on. And remember, there is none. There is no proxy. Likewise, Classic taking his own natural robo response. This is a very safe opener out of Classic. I mean, he did see the initial Twilight Council, and if MaNa goes for a one base all in, Classic, he will be ready for it. As MaNa is still searching. Still looking, still searching. MaNa, he will expand. He will not throw down extra gateways. He had the option to. He had the option to throw down a third or fourth gateway, but he does expand instead. Oh. But feels stuttering, man. And again, this should be fixed for the next game. So I do apologize, but I should fix it for game number 2. As MaNa, he does expand, but he is going to be throwing down an extra gateway back at home. So 3-gate setup back at home, and he is setting up for a potential proxy 4th gateway. This might just be a fake. This might just be a fake up. But remember, Classic already opened up Robo. He has the Immortal on the way. Classic, he's set up defensively quite well. He has shield batteries, he has force fields, he has sentries, Guardian shield, the Immortal as well. Classic, he is ready. And yep, 4-gate blink all in. So 4-gate blink out of MaNa. He is squeezing out a couple of probes. But again, MaNa, he is far behind economically, as this base is so late compared to Classic's. So late, so delayed. And we'll see if MaNa can break Classic. With Blink, he can try to dive on the Immortal. Otherwise, play it slow. Bait out the force fields. Speaking of, there we go, does poke in. Oh, gets one. And will blink away, but I have the 3 stalkers get caught out. GG gets caught. He loses 4 stalkers in the process. Classic, he shuts down MaNa, and Classic takes game number 1. Whew. GG. And I will turn off my VPN. I got you, but Classic will take the game. Again, MaNa was all in. He was all in then and there, and the force fields, they completely shut him down. I was hoping that maybe MaNa would bait out some force fields with his blink and try to bait out and waste some of the energy, but he got caught, he got locked down. GG. GG, well played. With that, Classic, he will take a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game número 2. Let's go. Again, Classic, he did pay off playing safe. He did play it safe. Remember, he went for the Robo opener. He read that his opponent would one base all in very nicely. He also scouted. He confirmed the Blink opener, if you remember. He scouted the Twilight Council, scouted the late expansion. Classic, he was all over it. Was all over it. Here we go. Now we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see if MaNa can bounce back and force the ace match, or if Classic can shut him down and bring it home here and now. Here we go. As spawning in the top left hand corner of Pylon, we have the Polish Protoss player. You can see how smooth it is. It's so smooth. We have the Polish Protoss, we have the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing his new team, Virtus Pro, leading the series 1-0. It is Classic. Here we go. As our players are settling in. It's a Pylon. Again, it is a wide map, but again, the rush distance by ground is very direct. Aggression can be favored here on Pylon, and we'll see how aggressive our players are going to be. See how aggressive. So I'm here once again, 2-gate opener out of Classic, 2-gate opener out of MaNa. And once again, Classic, he has his probe on the map. Remember, last game, Classic, he kind of faked MaNa out by going for a fake proxy. And MaNa, he did overreact to it, honestly. I'm sure that's a reason why MaNa did go into one-base blink. This time, though, Classic does not hide a Pylon. He moves out for the scout. No probe scout? MaNa. Okay, bold move. MaNa, he sends nothing across the map, by the way, so 0 scouting from MaNa. 2-gate opener skips the first 2 units and he goes straight for the Nexus. Greedy build, very greedy. Classic scouts, he is aware, and now the pressure's on Classic to punish. Double adept into his own Nexus. But again, this is quite greedy from MaNa. Even supply blocked, actually. Oh god. As he did do this before the second Pylon as well. So a bit of a shaky build, but very greedy nonetheless. And we'll see if MaNa can get away with it. Oh boy. We'll see if he can. Meanwhile, we do see Classic going for a faster Nexus into a Robo. Once again, a very safe play. Just to wind it back, if you recall, the initial Robo opener here is just very safe. It does lead into early Immortal production. So if MaNa were to go into Blink and go into something more aggressive, then Classic would be safe. Meanwhile, Adepts do threaten a Shade. Adept into the Mineral Line. Gets 1 probe. Gets 1. Gets 2. And he gets a full scout. Classic confirms the Stargate. Even gets a 3rd probe. Oh, this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand. It's getting a little bit out of control here. 5 probe kills. This is becoming far too much. Despite the greed out of MaNa, he's being punished. He's being punished here. Adept doesn't quite shade out, as 1 Adept does get away. But 1 Adept for 5 probes is well worth it here for Classic, and a full scout as well. Behind this Classic, going for the Robo, going for his own Stargate follow-up. Interesting choice with the Stargate, very interesting. I do like this just because in general, when you open Stargate, you don't really think about your own defense. So this has potential to get damage, assuming we open up Oracle. As Classic, he builds up. Again, the Prism is on the way to reinforce across the map to keep up the aggression. Hallucination Scout is denied. And MaNa, he doesn't know what's going on. Not yet. Now dipping into the bases. Goes further in. Scouts a Stargate. It's going to be the Phoenix first, not the Oracle. And MaNa knows. MaNa, he's aware now. He knows to be that much more careful with his own Oracle to bypass the Phoenix. Speaking of a Classic, he's just came for that Oracle. And here comes that Prism. Now, it looks like so far only one Phoenix for Classic. He doesn't over-respond or overreact. Does confirm that there's no additional units being built. Twilight cancel follow-up. Oh boy. And we saw how much damage the Adept dealt earlier. Now even more. More Adepts are on the way. MaNa rushing into a third. Once again being greedy here. Classic working on his own. But here come the Adepts. And again, 2 Adepts say one-shot workers. Oracle does not shoot up. Oracle's going to run out of energy. I believe there should be an energy overcharge, thankfully. Oh. Okay, gets 2 more probes. 2 more workers go down. Immortals are building up. And we're getting into a longer game. Okay. The game does continue. We have 1 Oracle for MaNa. Likewise, Classic is zoned away. Both players are expanding. MaNa making his own actual Phoenix. Oh boy, and Classic, I mean, especially with that War Prism, he can just push out. He can reinforce. And MaNa is vulnerable. A lot of this will come down to that Stasis Trap. Speaking of, does he notice? Does he? He doesn't. Oh my god, so close. And the Stasis Trap has yet to really connect. There's another Stasis. Oh my god, he's just surrounded by Stasis Traps. They're everywhere. Yeah, they're all over the place. Immortal comes in. Immortal gets caught. Hopping up micro there out of Classic, but the Stasis does connect. Massive connection. And Classic is caught out. Is on his own. He's going to run into another Stasis. Phoenix goes down and MaNa holds. MaNa does hold, MaNa does defend. Again, the power of the Oracle opener. Are there Stasis Traps? And Classic is being shut down. He cannot fight this, not right now, not on his own. Stasis does run out, nice juggling here, nice control out of Classic. He will end up leading out that Prism. Yeah, the Prism goes down, but at the cost of heavy Stalker though. MaNa, was that worth it? I don't think it was. Takes down the War Prism, but that was how many Stalkers? That was... Oh. 9 Stalkers going down. Another Stasis. Let's go. Another Stasis Trap, but MaNa, he cannot touch this main army. Trying to collapse in. Once again punished. Ooh, Blink is done for MaNa. Does lift the Immortal, not bad. Does go for the lift. Does bring Classic down. Still a very close defense here for MaNa. Trying to hold on. MaNa still down in Stalkers. But Classic does not have Blink. Classic, he does take down the base. Recalls back home. Yeah, content with his damage. Classic is up in expansion, fully mining on his third. And MaNa just can't keep up. He cannot keep up, not anymore. He's falling behind economically, behind in production. Classic now has his own Blink Stalkers. And he will have the upgrade lead. +1 is almost done. +1 is almost complete. MaNa going for the main. Not bad. Going for the main base. He gets a pylon. Potentially gets a Stalker. Trades. No, Classic waiting for the Blink to the low ground for the low ground. And MaNa forced to go further into the base and does go for the recall. Bleeds out a lot of Stalkers in the process. Oh god. And that was the last ditch effort here from MaNa. That was his one chance to try to get some damage done. He gets 7 pros, but GG gets called. The writing is on the wall, and a Classic will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Classic. He will claim the series, will advance on. MaNa, he did an amazing job making it to the finals, again taking down Clem being the best Terran player, the best player I should say in the world. So MaNa did bring him down, but here in the PvP did struggle. Again, a lot of mind games come into play in PvP, and MaNa just had a really hard time keeping up with Classic, and with that MaNa was overwhelmed. With that, we have our 2 grand finalists here. We have our 2 finalists. It's going to be a PvP best of 5 between MaxPax and Classic. Let's go. Man, here we go. Again, MaxPax and Classic, they are going to face off. Vetoes are underway, and we will soon be jumping into our fresh best of 5. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. Again, Vetoes, that will take some time. So we're going to be going on a short break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, and be back soon to find out who's going to be our champion. MaxPax or Classic, one or the other. We'll find out. We'll find out after the break. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals. The grand finals here of this week's WardiTV Monday number 35. It has been an intense broadcast so far, going through Zerg and Terran players alike, but alas, we have reached our top two Protoss, and here we go. We have our best of 5 finals, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Tuckermac, we have the Danish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the red Protoss player from South Korea, representing his new team, Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will become this week's champion. Will it go the way of MaxPax or the way of Classic? Up to you to make that decision. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into this, MaxPax is going to be the heavy favorite. Typically we have in PvP, we have players like herO to contest against him, to knock him down. This week there is no herO. He was knocked out earlier in the tournament by Creator, which means Classic has to rise to the challenge instead. Now, Classic, he has defeated MaxPax in the past. That has happened, that has occurred, but it is more of an exception than the norm. So Classic has to be at his best here to bring down MaxPax. We'll see if he can. See if he can. For now, 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of Classic. Meanwhile, Gate Cybercore into Nexus, or Gate Cyber into Stargate from MaxPax. Standard opener out of MaxPax. Classic does open up with a fake proxy pylon. The goal here is to try to force an overreaction out of MaxPax. But for the most part, Classic is going to be playing this out standard here and should be going for a faster Nexus. It wouldn't surprise me if Classic does skip his 3rd and 4th units, maybe double Stalker into double Sentry into a faster Nexus instead. We'll see. We shall see. If you recall, we saw that at a Creator. Meanwhile, we do have the double Adept opener. Meanwhile, Stargate out of MaxPax against Stargate into Nexus. Standard opener out of our Blue Protoss player. From the side of Classic, it all depends. Does he double down? Oh, as it is a real proxy. Proxy Stargate. Not proxy Robo, not proxy Twilight Council, but he does commit. Now, this is not an all-in. This is an economic build. The purpose of a proxy Stargate is to deal economic damage to your opponent with an Oracle, and then expand behind it. But it's going to be an interesting dynamic because it's a proxy Stargate against regular Stargate, so both players should be opening up Oracle. Classic does have the option, if he so chooses, he can go Phoenix, but Phoenix Wars with a proxy Stargate, it often doesn't really bode well, just because your production is staggered. It's also very spread out, and you can easily camp that proxy. So it should be the Oracle, but we'll see. We shall see. Yep, there we go. Oracle's on the way, as we did mention. That is the purpose of the proxy Stargate, is to get economic damage. Adepts a thread in the shade. So far, MaxPax is keeping up. Classic does expand behind this. Classic, he does skip his 4th unit. So double Adept into 1 Stalker into a delayed 4th Stalker in favor of the Nexus. Oracle is revealed. Hunts down the Adepts. And Classic's own Oracle's on the way. He gets spotted. No. He gets spotted by the probe. MaxPax, he's aware, he's in position. There's a shield battery. There's a Phoenix as well. And Classic is being completely shut down. He can try to oh god. Oh no. The stasis is denied. The Oracle falls. GG. A rough start there. And MaxPax will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, solid scouting out of MaxPax and a solid read as well for MaxPax to go Oracle into Phoenix, not Oracle into Void Ray. So MaxPax, he did shut a Classic down completely. And with that Oracle getting 0 damage, that was game. That was game then and there. GG. With that, MaxPax takes the lead. And now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. We're getting into game 2. And I'll be honest, coming into this series, I didn't say anything earlier. I do expect this series to be short. I do not expect any mid-game, or I expect mid-game to maybe once. We might get into the mid-game once on maybe a larger map like Maganatha or we just had Tokamak, true. Yeah, if we load into Maganatha, I can see a longer game there, but outside of that, I expect short games. Let's go. Let's go. As we are getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss player himself, representing Virtus Pro. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is a Classic. Here we go. Here we go. As we are settling in. And calming things down. Once again, we do have our high ground setup, and this is the beginning of Phoenix Wars. I know that it may seem like I'm getting ahead of myself, but here we have the gate expand setup here, or the gate cyber expand setup on the high ground. Classic, he's going for the Nexus. Oh, but the probe is in position. Yeah, he's forced around the Cybercore. Cybercore's on the way for both players. And this screams a Stargate opener, and it screams a Phoenix Wars. Oh, as a Classic, he sips on Pi. There we go. He does slip on by. He does skip the Zealot, and he will get a Nexus on location. So Classic with a greedier start and a greedier build. Now, Classic has the option. He has the option to deviate and not throw down a Stargate. It's possible here that he can go for like... I was gonna say you can go for like a second gateway and like a Twilight Council, but I'm still leaning towards Stargate play. Meanwhile, Classic, he's a pylon blocking the low ground. He's making sure that a Stargate, or that a Nexus is not going to be thrown down. There's a Stargate for MaxPax, and we should be expecting a Stargate out of a Classic as well. Show us what you got. Oh, shield batteries are being thrown down, and MaxPax, he's committing hard. Throws down how many shield batteries he has? 2 shield batteries so far. 2, 3 shield batteries on the way. Meanwhile, the first Zealot and the Adept are coming, and the goal here is to take over the natural, to break the natural base, and to punish Classic's greed. Classic late Stargate. Late Stargate at a Classic. The shield batteries are finishing, and the first shield battery is under fire. And again, if MaxPax, if he can break these pylons, if he can break this natural, he can just end the game. He can just end the game. As he's still rallying across the map. So far, just 3 shield batteries. It's not going to be enough though. Yeah, Classic, he should hold. There we go. There's the energy overcharge. Classic, he does hold on. Behind the zone, Stargate still on the way. And Classic, he will defend. He will survive. Meanwhile, MaxPax opening up, I believe, Oracle. Yeah, Oracle first. Oracle into Phoenix. Oracle making its way to the main. Classic does have a shield battery on the way. Right now, Classic, he had to invest quite hard here into this defense. I'm loving this. I'm loving the shades. Does shade well. Does block MaxPax. He has to keep that up. Oh my god, barely in time. Whew. That was close. But again, he has to keep up with those shades to make sure MaxPax does not get in. Oracle's on the way. Second Stargate out of MaxPax. Embracing Phoenix Wars. And I do feel like Classic is one step behind here in the Phoenixes. Is that one step behind? Classic, he's about to show his hand once the Oracle goes in. It's also down that shield battery. Does hold on, does defend. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes are to reveal themselves. When it comes to the Phoenix count here, it is in favor of Classic currently, but remember, we have a second Stargate already for MaxPax, so he's building up that Phoenix count early on. So he's going to catch up and then overtake. That's the plan, at least. Is the plan. Currently 5-4. Second Stargate still halfway done for Classic. From here, we're building up. We're building up our Phoenixes. Likewise, we are waiting to see when the fleet beacon gets thrown down. When it comes to the economy, Classic does actually still have that economic lead. Remember, he did get the faster Nexus, and he did not lose many probes. He lost 1. So Classic, even though it was a bit of a shaky and messy defense, he still comes out on top economically. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Phoenixes, we're neck and neck. I say neck and neck, slightly in favor of MaxPax. Uh-oh. Adept say do not shade in. They get denied. Both players being active. As MaxPax does commits, a bit of a messy engagement though. And I believe Classic does take the fight, barely does force him back. MaxPax getting too excited, bleeding out more Phoenixes, and MaxPax, he will lose everything here. Ay, ay, ay. Again, he was just too premature. Yeah, he came in too soon. Recall back home. Oracle popping up. Got 6 probes, not bad. 6 workers go down, but what about the Phoenix count? That's what matters here. 6-2. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. Max actually just had to calm things down. But again, he got a little bit too antsy, and with that, Classic, he's going to tie things up. He's going to tie up the series and force the ace match, or say for the ace match, force it back and forth. No shield batteries. Classic just has to stack. Oh, yeah, stacks well. Please out a Phoenix of his own. Uh-oh. Where's it being pulled? There we go. Bleeds out another Phoenix. MaxPax trading well here. Very impressive. Does trade surprisingly well for himself. Nice target firing as well. Again, MaxPax trading as best he can, but the Stargate gets depowered for a moment. Probes are falling. And this should still be Classic's game. Despite the better target firing out of MaxPax. Despite Classic overextending for a moment there. Oh. I say that Classic getting overwhelmed. Thanks to the production. And Classic, he will lose his advantage. Oh, still trading evenly though. And what about the economy? 27 probe kills. That's what matters here. The economy's in the gutter. And Classic just has to come down. Yeah, he backs off. He backs off. He retreats. He's on 3 bases. He has a pylon blocking the 3rd. And from here, Classic can just get a 3rd Stargate and build up. MaxPax has nothing left behind this. Not like this. And GG gets called. There's no coming back from that. And with that, Classic ties up the series. We're going to game 3. GG. We are going to game 3 again. MaxPax, he was able to hold his own and able to catch up with the Phoenix count, but he did attack too soon, too early. He got a little bit too excited. He got a little bit too cavalier early on. Took a really rough fight, and from there, Classic just overwhelmed. He just overwhelmed from that moment. Did not allow MaxPax to get back into that game. GG. GG, well played. With that, we have a back and forth. We're going into game number 3. Game 3 going to be on Incorporeal. Let's go. Let us go. Oh, be careful, Donelu. Don't be a clown, Bobby. Don't be a clown. Here we go. Getting to our next game. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming being forced into a back and forth. We'll see if he can bounce back, and we'll see if he can bring it on and take a lead in the series. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Team Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. Our PvP does continue here. And again, Classic showcasing us his prowess when it comes to Phoenix Wars. But even then, it didn't really come down to the Phoenix Wars. It came down to the opener. If you remember, Classic, he went for a faster Nexus. And MaxPax did invest quite hard into trying to shield battery rush his opponent. He failed to do so. He failed to get the shield batteries up and running. And from there, Classic took an economic lead, which led into a greater Phoenix count. And again, MaxPax just got a little bit too excited from there. This time double gate. This time 2-gate opener out of Classic. With this going for a later expansion and a more aggressive start. He has the option for an all-in. We'll keep an eye on this probe, as it looks like Classic he is going for the proxy pylon. And this looks like a very real proxy pylon. The pylon gets placed. This is close enough for a proxy robo, so we'll keep an eye on Classic to see if he does double back, if he comes back and throws down and commits into a proxy. So we'll keep an eye on Classic. For now, MaxPax opening up with a gate, Cybercore into Stargate, into expansion, standard opener out of MaxPax. Again, he doesn't deviate. It's very rare for him to ever deviate away from this. There it is. Stargate gets thrown down in the main. Pylon is done, and Classic, he doesn't double back. So it looks like a fake proxy pylon. Bearing in mind that MaxPax, he did scout, and MaxPax, he's aware that the pylon is missing. He knows that a pylon should have been done, and it isn't. So he knows that something is wrong. Oh, Classic pulls away. Are we going to make use of it? We are. Proxy gateway. Interesting. Now, this is late. It is a late proxy out of Classic. But this is committed. This is committed, Max. Oh, he sees! He does. No, he does spot this, does confirm. And back at home, Shield Battery is going to be on the way. Void Rays as well. This is too close to the main scouting path. Again, it is standard for the to be in this position, so just a really rough setup here from Classic. He gets seen early on. And now Max actually knows. There is no surprise factor. Void Rays in production, Shield Batteries on the way. Classic already bleeding out the first Stalker. Things are looking a little bit dire here for Classic, as it is going to be a proxy 4 gate. So there's 3 gates at home and 1 across the map. So it's going to be a 1 base 4 gate all in, no blink. These are vanilla Stalkers. Oracles have to warp in defensively to defend against the Oracle. And he will deflect. Likewise, 3 Shield Batteries on the way from MaxPax. 3 Shield Batteries on the low ground. First Void Ray has arrived. Second Void Ray is on the way. Boys are being pulled. Classic does target down one of the Stalkers. Not bad. 1 Stalker goes down. He's up to 10 Stalkers. And can he snipe that Void Ray? Ooh, gets 1 volley off. 1 volley so far. Nothing major. More Stalkers building up. Now the goal here is to drag the Void Ray out into the open. To drag him out. As MaxPax, he has to pull the boys to save the base. Better concave here for Classic. Better concave. The base is getting low. Again, he's forcing MaxPax. Decent force fields. 3 Stalkers, they caught out in the open. Classic commits, and he gets 1. Gets 1 Void Ray. Has to kite back. Bleeding out some Stalkers. All the Stalkers are going down. Dropping down to 10. Dropping down to 10 Stalkers. But there we go. Does reinforce. Once again, dives on the Void Ray. Does not get it. 1 volley away. But Classic is close. He's close to breaking MaxPax. The Shield Batteries are running out of energy. The base is getting low. Oh! Gets a Stalker. Force fields, they force the fight. Takes down a second Stalker. Bleeds out more of his own though. Down to 6. There are only 6 Stalkers left. Classic is running out of steam. He's running out of army. Here we go, more Warpins coming in. Takes down the 1 Void Ray, takes him down just barely. Does get the Void. Has he done it? 1 Void Ray remaining. That's all he has. 1 Void Ray left. Auto Mass Papio. Now to 2. Now to 2 Void Rays. Classic is so close. Gets baited in. Takes down 6 probes. Going for an extra Warpin. The base should be going down though. 1 more volley. Base falls, nice pickup. And Classic, has he done enough? As he's working his way through those Shield Batteries. Has control of the low ground. MaxX falling back to the main. From here, Classic, he expands. Takes the natural. Takes his natural base back at home. And Classic is not what he needs to do. He doesn't have to push in. You can see he's just kiting, picking up Void, shield battery to shield battery. Cleaning up everything on the low ground. And now it's time to macro. Now it's time to expand. Time to just build up from here. MaxX, he knows he's going for a counterattack. Now these Void Rays unchecked, they can deny the expansion. Meanwhile, with the help of this, with the help of the high ground vision, he's going for it. He's going for the main. MaxX, he's not at home to defend. Classic, does he have a recall? He does. And he does recall. Does recall back home. Just in time to defend. Again, there's another sentry, there's another force field, so he just could not push up. He could not push up the ramp. The Void Ray gets caught, GG gets caught, and Classic takes a 2-1 lead in the series, 1 game away from becoming our champion. Whew, GG. GG, well played, very slow, methodical play there at a Classic, able to pick away at the Stalkers one at a time, Void Ray one at a time, more importantly, kill the expansion. That was the win condition there, is to kill the natural base, to kill the expansion, and in doing so, he could take his own, maintain the low ground control, and just take the game from there. We saw that MaxX, he went for a bold move, going for a counterattack. If he got across the map, if Classic didn't recall when he did, then MaxX could have cancelled the natural, could have kept going. But as we saw, Classic did recall. He noticed, hold up, you have another sentry, you have another force field, I cannot actually push into the main, I'm wasting my time here, I know that you're not at home, let's go back home and defend. So did recall back home. So clean decision making there out of Classic, and with that, Classic is 1 game away from becoming our champion. MaxX has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. Let's go. The pressure is on. Pressure is on MaxX. And game number 3 is going to be on torches. Sorry, game number 4 is going to be on torches. Torches, of course, being one of the smallest map of the map pool, known for aggression, known for all-ins, but does have the high ground. Does have the high ground natural, so tempted to open up Phoenixes. Show us what you got. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of torches, we have the Danish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Psystorm Gaming. It is MaxX. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Let's go. Here we go. As you can see here, MaxX is setting up on the low ground. Again, there is a ramp coming into the natural, so this screams a nice defensive setup here for a Gate, Cyber, Nexus, and a Stargate into Phoenix Wars. Classic, on the flip side, goes for the high ground setup. Interesting. Is he actually going for a 2-gate opener, or is this still a Gate Cybercore up in the main instead? MaxX has to confirm. Goes up the ramp. Second gateway gets thrown down. Oh boy, 2-gate opener. This, I'll be honest, I'm not too fond of this idea. So 2-gate opener is more aggressive. Classic, he now has the option to 1-base all in. The probe is moving out, but a 2-base all in is going to be difficult to pull off here when you have the high ground. MaxX gate expand, a hyper greedy build here at a MaxX. He does cut so many corners. That is a Nexus before the Cybercore. And Classic, this does look like a fake proxy pylon. I say fake, I say that it is on his half of the map. True, it doesn't look like a proxy, but remember what we said earlier. The rush distance by ground on torches is very short. This is the smallest map. You don't get smaller than torches. So you can like proxy, but still 1-base all. So you can have the Nexus or have the proxy on your side and still 1-base all in. Double Adept on the way. Stargate, Robo Gateway, Robo, 1-base all in at a Classic. Now, the position here is difficult to scout because it's so close to Classic's main. So true, it's going to be difficult to scout. At the same time, it's going to be difficult to execute because of the high ground advantage of MaxPax. At the same time, though, remember MaxPax, he went for a Nexus before the Cybercore. This is one of the greediest, if not the greediest build you can go for. The only greedier build is Nexus before Gateway, and that's never seen. So basically the greediest viable build. So this is ideal for Classic, but he gets found. He gets found out. MaxPax knows, but knowing is only a part of the battle. Remember last game, MaxPax, he saw the proxy, he died anyway. So it may not matter. As Classic opening up with more depths. Interesting. So with the War Prism and not the Robo, sorry, War Prism and not the Immortal, and with more depths on the way, it feels like the goal here is economic damage. The goal is not to break the natural, not yet. It is to bypass natural, get into the main, and get economic damage done instead. Yeah, here we go. So 4 depths into the main. And then we follow up with the Immortals. So Immortals are banking up sentries as well for force fields. Prism making its way across the map. Sentry does confirm, and nice scatting out of MaxPax, getting in position. And he defends with a Robo, not a Stargate. Adept State don't get much done. MaxPax defending beautifully here. Classic, he needs some kind of economic damage. He needs something. But he's on a move. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol here by Classic. He gets 1, he gets 2 probes. This is okay damage. Getting up to 5. MaxPax still ahead economically, though. Still has more workers. This is not good enough. And the problem here is that MaxPax, he has an equivalent Immortal count. So we mentioned before how difficult it is to break the high ground here on torches, and I'm still not convinced. I'm not convinced that Classic can break this. We'll see. Does move in. The wall is open. Oh, true. Wall is open and going for the Cybercore initially. Okay. Cybercore is going to go down. Nice pickup. More depths threatening shades. More shield batteries on the way for MaxPax. Getting up to 3 shield batteries on the low ground. Nice force field, but we have the Prism to counteract that. Dropping over the wall. It does drop over. Classic, he's in trouble here. He's fighting into shield batteries. And MaxPax, he will take this fight. He will take this fight. He will shut him down. At the same time, an upset popping off. Oh my god. 8 probes. 8 probes is good, but still not enough. MaxPax still with an equivalent worker count of his opponent. Classic still needs more damage. Now going for the Immortal drop. Stalkers are in position. Immortals then making their way in. So far making use of those shields. We do see Classic does that trade. Takes out a Stalker, not bad. Takes out a Stalker, warping into the main base. And MaxPax doesn't take this seriously enough. Now he has to respond. Now he has to respect this. Oh my god. Takes down another Stalker. And he wants that Immortal. Ideally, he settles for the mineral line. 10 probes going down. MaxPax getting torn apart here. Is getting torn apart. Classic going for the pylon. Depowers the Robo. Denies the Immortal. He will lose an Immortal on the low ground though. Again, Classic getting some losses himself, but he does get the mineral line. 13, 14, 15 probe kills. Insane damage. Oh, he repowers. Let's go. Oh no. Does repower the Robo. Classic, this is still a tough fight. Still close, still clutch. He's up against 3 Immortals. And no shot Classic can take this. No shot. Barely takes down both Immortals though. Snipes both. Oh my god. Classic, he outcontrols. He outcontrols MaxPax. GG gets called. Insane micro there out of Classic. And Classic, he will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's WardiTV Monday champion. GG. GG, well played. Very impressive play there, very impressive control at a classic. Again, things were looking dire for him. He was killing some probes here and there, but it was not good enough. But he does out control MaxPax. He was able to get into the main base. MaxPax did not take it seriously enough. MaxPax, he left most of his army on the low ground, so he was being overwhelmed, losing stalkers, losing immortals. Then it came down to that back and forth intense clash where, fun fact, MaxPax, he was up an immortal. He had 3 immortals against the 2 immortals of his opponent, but Classic did have some great target firing, some better control, blinking up, or I should say juggling his units, preserving his units, and did outtrade MaxPax towards the end. GG, well played. Whew, Classic is going to be our champion. Congratulations. And MaxPax, he will claim 2nd place. Still a solid performance. And again, MaxPax, he was still favored coming into this, but impressive play there by Classic. GG. GG, well played. Classic, he is going to be this week's champion. And hope you all enjoyed yourselves. It was a bit of a shorter broadcast. Usually our broadcasts are at least 4 hours. Here, just under 4 hours long, so a bit of a shorter broadcast. Some faster series, some faster PvPs, some more early and mid game, and less late game, of course. But regardless, hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you had a great time here. And again, this is a weekly tournament. We do cover this event every single week, so I hope you had a great time. And of course, we are going to be back in a couple of hours time with our next broadcast. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. Let us switch our scenes over and catch up on our schedule. Now, this schedule does have to be updated. It is not quite what it needs to be, but for the most part is accurate when it comes to the first or the majority of these matches, of these events. We just wrapped up with WardiTV Monday. We're going to be live at 9 a.m. KST. That is at 10 a.m. AST. That is 9.5 hours. We're going to be live in 9.5 hours with the GSL group stage. With GSL group stage, we're going to be live in the morning and the evening. 2 broadcasts back to back of GSL, so we got you covered. Tomorrow, full GSL day. On Wednesday, we have the Pegasaur Cup, not the Pegasaur Monday, but the Pegasaur Cup. Sorry, it's going to be on Wednesday morning. We have StarCraft Evolution League on Thursday. We have the Podcast Thursday evening. We have the RSL Revival StarCraft League qualifier on Friday. Again, 3 days straight of RSL qualifiers, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Korea, Americas, and Europa as well. On Saturday morning, we have KSL listed, but we are going to be casting OSC. The OSC midseason playoffs, we're going to be covering that on Saturday. That might lead into KSL. We still have to find a place for KSL instead. We'll find a nice place for that broadcast on another day. Meanwhile, we have the May Mayhem on Sunday, Sparkling Tunic Cup on Sunday, and some more content over the weekend, including some Firegrow Cup King of the Hill action as well. So plenty of content throughout the week, plenty of content to come. I still have to find a place for KSL. We'll find it at some point, probably next week. We have so much to cast though. We're like KFCs are banking up, the Kung Fu Cups are banking up, StarCraft Evolution League events are banking up as well. We have some show matches to cast. There's a lot to try to fill in, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Aye. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. And again, we're going to be live in 9.5 hours with some GSL content, with some Global StarCraft League all day tomorrow. So we got you covered there with that GSL action. Otherwise, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. Hope you all had a great weekend. And we'll see you guys tomorrow or some other time. Of course, exclamation mark socials in the chat. You can follow us on YouTube. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all things CranKy Ducklings. We also do have a Patreon, so you can support us on Patreon if you wish. All the money on Patreon goes towards the tournaments we host. So if you want to help support our tournaments, then Patreon is the place to be. Thank you so much to all of our current patrons to be able to fund our events the way that you do. Again, we're able to pay out more players and have greater prize pools because of that. So thank you so much. We're close to our next goal. You can help us reach it if you wish. You can help us there if you wish. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some GSL content. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. Thanks for watching.